same record. It makes no sense. I don't know how they've done that. It's almost like someone's writing a script at home, but let's be real. Somebody's going to go home sad today. This is a matchup. Teams that have played each other so many times. Heartbreak, elation on either side. The fact is, as Sue has said already, normally they go to events together. Well, this time that's not possible. One of them is out after this match.
Well, just the other day, Team Liquid took down the devil they knew in Gentlemates. Now, the devil they don't necessarily. Fnatic up against them. Defensive side start for Liquid, and a slow start indeed. No pressure being applied by that defense. Instead, spreading it and hoping that Fnatic walk into them. You can see Cam set up on A, traps for mid as well. And the idea to flash out on mid with Yumpy and immediately crunch that fight the second the trap is hit. But Fnatic are taking it slow. Does look like they are heading towards that trap setup.
Yeah, the fact is, this map being picked up was maybe a little bit of a surprise, but moving away from that composition was an even bigger one. If Fnatic have prepped, it's probably not for the cookie cutter comp. Already though, solid start. Kiko aggressively alongside Yumpy. The tag team just shutting down Fnatic. Boaster trying to cling to life, even a chance for a reload, and Boaster does well. It's now left on to Leo, and he can't quite hit the shots. It'll be Liquid to kick things off, the pistol under their belt.
Very good start. This is what you want to see if you're a Liquid fan. Fnatic have shown time and time again they're able to bounce back when they find themselves falling behind. Team Liquid, on the other hand, in this series at least, I see them as the ones that crumble if Fnatic do get off to a lights-out start. With a pistol under their belt, they can be happy. And again, it comes down to this trap setup that they had in play. Based off the flash, based off the crunch afterwards, the trap gets hit, and it's go time. That's 1-0, and an outlaw in play for Kiko already. This man is an animal with every weapon, to be honest, but when it has a scope on it, he hits another level.
Yeah, I think they're going to need him to be good today. The fact is, even though this map is obviously the pick of Liquid, one they feel confident in, it's going back to a more normalized comp, so the surprise factor goes out the window. But also, we've seen Fnatic already play this. They played it at kickoff versus Vitality and absolutely destroyed them. Yeah. And they played it versus Na'Vi, and I'm pretty sure they played closer than Liquid did. So it's a map that they're definitely still going to be comfortable on, just because of the almost basicness of the map. For now, though, expectations. I was going to say a 0, but that's not a bad start.
Yeah, inside the smoke, able to get the close range angle, but the kills are being cleaned up outside of it. I was worried about A. This was the site that didn't have that Cypher setup this time. A change around that left them a little bit weaker to that contact play. Fnatic creep their way out, the dash to give it away, but players up close catch them by surprise. It doesn't matter. 2-0 found, minimal losses on the side of Liquid. As good a start as you could hope for.
I like the Durka there. It looks like he was trying to make a sneaky play into the smoke. A bit like this, just moments later, not realizing the door's closed. So he's just walking into a door. not quite working out, and in the end, fairly easy cleanup for the side of Liquid. This, though, is where things are going to get a little bit more interesting. And I don't know if this is a direct counter to what is Enzo, but Leo going into round number 3 has brought an Odin on the attack.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. Just the counter spam. They heard the Ares rumbling off earlier on in the previous round. The same setup was in play. There's a cam to try and catch them in main. They have the recon to bounce back on, but finding nothing and damage done to Enzo. A good return by Fnatic, good contestation over an area that Liquid have already shown them. We want to fight for this, we have our ideas. And Fnatic come in round 3 with some counterplay. Now, Shock Dart goes through to destroy the trap as well, further taking the info out of their hands. Fnatic are doing a good job of controlling the map so far, but they haven't made a decision on where they're going yet.
Kiko's dash is gone. This now becomes a lot more dangerous, and well, he's going to be met with a headshot from Durka. Normally you try and escape, but in rounds where you have those weaker weapons, there's always going to be those risks taken, those gambles that aren't expected. The problem now, though, is that there's a lot of weak weaponry when it comes to this B-side defense.
Yeah, I mean, starting it out, Enzo will grab one with the Ares. Not my favorite weapon, not one that finds a lot of success when it is picked up, but especially not in open combat. It's a good start. The smoke certainly helped them, but 35 seconds, still plenty of time for Fnatic to get into this site. Danger Man could be nuts if he's left unchecked. That wallbang from Leo is clean. And Mystic's being spotted on the site. 25 seconds. They've got to up the pace and make their way through. Leo's thinking about spamming. And good damage done. Nats on 26, still good for 1 in the back. The cage up, he won't be able to get the weapon. Even the risk of further spams too much. 2v3. From this point forward, damage is the name of the game, and Leo's getting a little more damage through the wall. He's owning it up with the Odin.
It's unfortunate for the opposing side, but he's basically managed to clean up the round. Yumpy has retraced at Rifle. We saw him have a pop-off game in their necessary victory versus Gentlemates. Might even get to see his chamber a little bit later on, but needs quite a lot here. First kill does go his way, making things ever so costly, but the double peek from Fnatic is sublime. They'll get their first round on the board, but it wasn't clean.
No, it was anything but costly as it was. Fnatic have found one. They've shown a lot of presence on this map as well. The spams early on, the traps destroyed, the pace change in the mid-round as well to just pump the brakes. It left Kiko with a dash online, a position he couldn't hold, and once the dash faded away, he had no way out. Opens the door for them to push the site. Even then, they make it through market, pump the brakes, go back to spam battles, go back to trying to control, grab the recons up to find information. This isn't a team that's tunnel visioning their way into a site. They're showing Liquid they're here to play on the same level, and spams early. It's going to be a fight between these two, and a good bit of damage out of that last one. Leo's on 28.
This is the thing. You're battling a man who loves to play the Odin on this side of the map. Enzo will do it in every single scenario. In their match versus GX, they had an incredible comeback, and a lot of that was him retaking with an Odin.
Goddamn right it was.
And I hated it, but it did work. So I say to challenge him at his own game, it's not the way I'd go about it. But we'll see if it's going to work out. Timmy the Turret is going to meet the same fate as probably many a player will in this matchup. And those early fights, if anything, have just left Leo with a gun that you really don't want on low HP. Like, if you have a Vandal, maybe you can hit a shot or two. With an Odin, it's not going to work.
Oh, you better be very clean and hidden by a wall. You know, even the utility taken out of play, going back to an alarm bot, they're worried that someone could have pushed into main and taken that space. It slows them down further on the side of Fnatic. Team Liquid respond, pulling through to the site. 2 players in Boathouse. They'll defend this one and run the clock as much as they can. They need kills on the way through. This could and likely will come down to a retake. The question is, how much damage can Nats and Enzo get done? How easy can they make that retake for their teammates? Already going well with 1, with 2, in fact. Enzo wall banging them with the Odin, and Nats takes his time to swing. It's all on Durka. 75 HP, 10 seconds, and the spike down in the open. He is out of here, but he's not out scot-free. Look who's coming to say hello. Kiko, his steps might have been heard. Durka's ready, but not good enough to take the fight. The op a little bit too quick on the other side. 3-1 now for Liquid. And the Let's Go Liquid chance begin.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds for Fnatic where it was clear they wanted to head in this direction pretty much from the beginning. But when you know you're up against an Odin like that, you just can't afford to be slow. Like, you can't afford to allow for the rotations, to have that extra utility in play. And eventually it just came down to him having time to isolate. Like, he's able to wallbang a guy, then switch up to the next position. It's not the most mobile of guns. You need to be a little bit quicker with it. And what Durka being the last one left alive almost shows how poorly that went for Fnatic. Nonetheless, it's not going to be too much of a problem with it being so early in the game. Liquid, though, off to a flying start. It's great to see, because a lot of the time, as you've mentioned, they're one to let leads slip, but if things go poorly, they're not the greatest comeback team in the world.
We've seen it again and again. I mean, in this series as well, we're talking map pool-wise for Liquid, very comfortable pool. Icebox,
Yeah.
Lotus Ascent, ones they've loved to play all throughout this.
I'm surprised we didn't see Bind. That's the big one.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. For Fnatic, I can understand their reasoning, but a risk nonetheless. And Liquid need to be very cautious in this round. Of course, Fnatic don't have a full buy. That's why we're not giving too much respect to the attacking side on this one with mostly pistols to play with, but Liquid do make those mistakes. We've seen how the numbers advantages can be taken and converted into wins. Cam spotting them on the walk up. Good information now. It's a mid and B main play. The rotates a little bit slow to come over. In fact, we've seen the Shrouded step straight through to market. The swing, though, caught by Nats. Ever vigilant, ever ready for these fights. Left just into Leo's hands. He does well to find Nats, but that trade is all they get. 4 rounds on the board now for Liquid. This wasn't one that, obviously, Fnatic invested a lot into, but it comes out clean, and it's a money-making opportunity for Liquid that they have cashed in.
Yeah, getting better in terms of the finances. Operator in the hands of Kiko. Had it already, but we'll continue into the next round, and it seems like Fnatic have given up on trying to battle the Odin in warbangs, as they're going to go in with the rifles. Also having that Hunter's Fury, always good for some of these early pickoffs, especially if you do want to try and isolate that Odin player. Not going to have the same maneuverability. with that gun in hand. For now, though, again, looking a little bit slower in a different style from the side of Liquid. You've had the Odin spamming every single round. Okay, now it's taken by an operator. That means they can switch up that utility elsewhere. Already going to spot a little bit of the battle coming in for mid control.
Team Liquid burning up their smokes for A main control. And there seems to be an idea there from Fnatic to contest it. Seen Boaster playing on the other side, waiting for his gap, but little does he know, Yumpy's doing much the same. Getting up close. Was looking for the fight, but backs off. Knife gonna come back into play. There's one spotted outside. You get the idea now. Boaster being here, no ult online. They're angling towards this A side. It looks like that's how it'll pan out in Liquid. Well, they have certainly read this with the rotations. Already 4 players close by and ready to help out on this fight. Mystic doesn't seem to need help, but he's got it anyways. Nat's on the scene as Mystic cleans up house, and Yampy's advanced position pays off tenfold. Nothing left but Leo again.
Yeah, and they invested a Hunter's Fury, seemingly a little bit late. It looked like they were trying to make contact and then have that as a disruptive tool, but it really wasn't. They basically lost the round before it was even utilized. You had 2 players just hoping to try and take some of those fights, and Liquid were so prepared for that aggression. A couple of players watching. Yumpy's even going to be there to close out the round, and I am wondering when Fnatic will call a pause, because this hasn't been particularly close in the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, I saw those early round adaptations. The push and pull of the map was good. The read over when to switch up the timing's even better. And you can't fault that second kill. Chronicle blinded him, still goes down to the wild spray, but there was a second player. You have to think, even if that goes well, they probably only get the trade. Yeah, look, a 5-1 scoreline, it's not pretty, but how many of these games have we seen start out this way? And that team does find their footing. They bounce right back into it, and we end up at a 7-5 half, a manageable one with a pistol under your belt in the next. It's almost equal. For Fnatic, well, they're going to be leaning on that, hoping that this is another display of some such things. And a slower approach, but one that is looking to take control over mid. We've seen those traps in play around mid before, but no shock darts deployed. They're not looking to control the map elsewhere, which is allowing earlier rotations from Liquid, who once again have 4 players on this A site ready for the push.
This has got to be on Durka. Maybe goes in second. They've got some supportive utility, but they're going to try and play off the one-way. It has a gamble, and he actually used all of his knives in one go. Didn't even get a kill for it. That's gone horrifically. And while Mystic, he loves his TB. He loves some confidence plays. This is maybe a little too confident. 2 players now being dropped. Durka has a rifle under his belt. And potentially more guns to be found. Again, though, it's still on him for now.
The HP is trickled down massively. With 2 players bunkered down on the side, it'll be tough to break through this. Opt for Kiko, maybe a silver lining.
Not ready.
They can manage to draw his sight, and in fact, Kiko is starting to step away. Smoke about to be deployed through. This is to get them out onto the site to bypass the off. Reveal from Enzo. Timed well, but it goes past the smoke. They're still safe inside it. Now they've got eyes on him. Rotations from Kiko. He's just now making it through. Enzo can't hold on, but the trade is quick enough. Leo, same old story. Guy's got the lowest first deaths per round for a reason. Barely ever goes down until the last few seconds. Now a chance in the 1v2. Isolates a fight, knows the off is last. Really nice try by Leo. And that could have been some light at the end of the tunnel for Fnatic. Instead, it gets that little bit darker. 6-1 for their opponents.
Yeah, still, in isolation, not a bad round. A Blade Storm, few SMGs. I think it'll be frustrating with how close it got. And it's safe to say that confidence might be the highest we've ever seen it on Liquid. Like, they are willing to buy everything. You had Mystic TPing up against weak weapons. You had Yumpy swinging with low HP, and they're 2 very different reactions. I feel like more of a sigh of relief coming out from EMEA, almost giving them a way back into the game. But now look for Liquid. Almost every single ultimate online. Only one for information gone on the other side of things. They used a fair amount over the last couple of rounds.
They've been chipping away. Attack side this time looking a little bit different. Sight's no longer set on A, which is a good thing. Nats' setup has found its way here.
Take flight.
And the mid control will be sought after. Bullets are coming close to breaking that trap. They know where it is now. Happy moved forward, but that won't be catching them by surprise, and the shot landed by Leo. There it is. He might not have killed the upper last round, but he starts this one out the same. Like I said, Lowe's first deaths. I don't know why you tried to face him early in the round.
It's definitely the plan. One of the first times we've seen Fnatic with an early advantage, and while Liquid are not just going to sit back and wait, timing here is going to be everything. The steps have been heard, Nat's still going to get one. Yumpy's still trying to swing, but Dirk is already going to be past the angle. Enzo, though, he's been unstoppable at the back of this site, spamming away. He gets himself a kill and a second as well. The Odin Master at work, and well, he's got support as well, leaving it all onto Critical, and he just can't stop him. The Odin from the backside picks up 3. And while it's 7-1 right now for Liquid, this couldn't be going much worse for Fnatic.
It's the greatest Odin player of all time. It's the greatest. 9-2 for Enzo right now. Looking absolutely spectacular down on the stage, and what a disruptive play as well. I find it hard to look at anything else in this. They're on their way through, and you just cannot uproot this guy. Spams through that wall. You swing to face him, he spams through the other wall. Then he hides behind it for the next 2 kills to close out that 3K. Absolutely gorgeous.
Standing ahead.
Round number 9. Pressure's on, but not for Kiko. He's gone running in to take this fight, and the reveal is perfect.
Oh, the reveal in combination with Hunter's Fury. Everything working for Liquid. A setup we've seen before, but a lot of the time doesn't have that same level of success. Getting those 2 openers. Everything Fnatic is attempting is being shut down almost immediately, and again, they have to try and find a response. It's been a quiet start to this game for Althea. Not someone who goes missing for too long, but he really needs somebody to step up here, and I don't think he's winning this fight. No, Yumpy just isn't missing.
There's no stopping them. You spoke about confidence. Well, it very much is at an all-time high with that play. I like Leo's position, though. Oh, such a cerebral player. He's letting the first pass, swinging in to catch the element of surprise. And that's just a stinger. The things this man can do. He's the last man standing. And he won't stand for much longer. Of course, it's the Odin to come in and close it out. I was starting to believe in the Leo clutch. It would have been spectacular. But instead, it is 8-1 for the defensive side.
There are a few players who've won a 1v5 in front of our eyes before. He is one of the few. But unfortunately for him, it's just not enough. And that's the problem. Is this really the plan? Okay, for a second I thought Fnatic were going to go in with a double Odin on attack, which I feel like if your whole game plan revolves around trying to kill Enzo, you've already lost. No offense to him, but
because he doesn't die. He's 11-2. I get it, Tom. Makes sense.
I was going to say because he's not normally the man you need to target, but he is in this game. I'll give you that. Alpha is going to drop 1. Those trades are out. Enzo might be in trouble here, but no, it doesn't look like the next pulse is going to connect. A guess from Leo almost manages to take out Kiko. That would have been a huge kill to find.
Well, he singed his hair bun. That's about all that's happened here. Yumpy. There's not a lot of space for him to get out of here. Not a lot that they can do to try to deny. Nade is thrown through to try and counter out the lockdown. It looks like it's landed just about where it needed to. Ult used as well, so no utility to fight their way back through. But still a minute on the clock. The problem is Fnatic don't have control anywhere else. They're being flanked. They know that that's a possibility, so they just decide to fight forward. Great success with Chronicle finding that, and they know exactly where Yumpy is. What's the decision? They can take things towards A if they want, run the risk of only going into 1 more man, and at the end of the day, Enzo has been there a couple times, but he was spotted spraying early on short. They'll isolate Yumpy. That's the idea, and they've caught Enzo on the flank. It looks like everything's gone according to plan. Just that man left to deal with, and they will finally get it done. 8-2, the beginning of a comeback, and this is a team that never gives up.
Yeah, it's still an incredibly long road to go down. An 8-2 scoreline on the defense for Liquid already looks good. Obviously a mass change in composition and the way it runs, so it's not quite going to be the same on that attacker side, but even still, we've seen a lot of teams be able to pick up rounds on that side of the map nowadays. And I feel like Fnatic, they win this round, but a lot of it is just finally being able to catch that aggression. Like, the defense have been pushing all over the map, having set plays here and there, and this time they finally managed to stop one of them. Doesn't mean they'll be able to stop the rest.
Well, that's it. These are set plays that, in this instance, the first time we've seen it, right? That full mid-dive, Odin spam to provide covering fire. Didn't work out. It's all good. From a defensive perspective, there's no need to fret. You reset, you go back to what did work. Just sitting down and waiting for them to push on in. Being proactive at little bits of the map. around Jenny. Lot of danger with that spam going through. There he is, down and dropped. Knives out of the game. Durka still nestled in on that corner, but Mystic manages to uproot him. Okay, the advantage no longer in play for them, and that spam leaves Alpha on 6 HP. A good start to this retake already for Liquid.
A single kill for Chronicle. Give him the null command. Information can be garnered by Nats as well, having that neural theft available, but for now it looks like it's going to be into those firefights. Enzo kind of waiting for someone to make a mistake. He needs his teammates to take some space, and well, that might be one. They're not aware of the position of Nats already, and he's going to drop a second. Leo, a lot of the time, has had no help. He's got to try and do it all on his own. Try and clutch this one up, and they're just defusing. The second shot connected. He's going to go running, and finally Leo has his clutch. It is deserved at this point.
He waited so long, so many opportunities taken out of his hands, but now, a clutch under his belt, the fire relit under Fnatic. 2 in a row, better than they managed so far. And just at the last minute, I said 7-5. That's what we've seen time and time again. 8-4 still possible.
The scary thing, though, is that it really does feel like it's Leo or bust.
Yes.
Like, the rest of the team are not awake right now. Chronicle had his 2 kills in the last round. He's got 3 total. Alpha's been really quiet. Durka's been okay. A lot of the time he's going to be dashing into sites. It's forgivable, but it's really scary how missing the majority of Fnatic have been. And while Durka's already gone, an opening kill coming up for the side of Kiko. Now Enzo's a little bit low. It doesn't seem like it's scared him away from these wall bags whatsoever. And now Fnatic again have to try and find a way back into this round off a deficit. You're already going to see the information found as well from Mystic with 2 players spotted outside of B.
They'll avoid any further contact around the B site, by the looks of things, Fnatic setting their sights on A. Ult from Chronicle should get them through. Trap's already heard. But the knife instead put in. Nonetheless, those abilities will be offline. As we see that ult used, Chronicle now suppressing the entire enemy force. Enzo down to 40, but he does some damage in return. A few tickles onto Chronicles, all it amounts to. Site control fully lost. No ults to counter on the way back through. Team Liquid, sure, man advantage to play with, but that's about the only positive going for them right now. Take a look at Fnatic. They are miles away, playing their post plants, and a late lurk up through middle. If this takes Liquid too long to get in, they could be in a lot of trouble. I like the dash out of Kiko. I like the wall bang out of Enzo, straight down onto Boaster, but here's the element they might not be ready for. The reveal shows a couple of them. Alpha now has to try to capitalize on this. He's got Chronicle with him, and both are shut down! Yumpy alone! And that's how it's gonna end. Kiko dropping that final player to leave the defuse in their hands, 9-3. I don't know how Yumpy managed to find both kills on short.
I genuinely, again, like, you look at the position that Leo is in, and he's screwed. Like, he's absolutely screwed, and he's still able to do some damage. Like, you've got the Dark coming out, but it is Yumpy just being able to get those 2 kills, but I feel like Alpha has to get something there. Like, I don't understand how he's not managing to find the impact that we've seen from so many times from these sort of positions. 9-3. Fnatic in desperate need of a response, even just to give us some semblance of hope for Icebox, because right now they are being bullied.
I mean, there's no other way to say it, Tom. 9 rounds on their defensive side for Team Liquid. As we said, this map pool, it seems to be set up for Team Liquid's success. All 3 maps, ones that they've been incredibly confident on. In fact,
ones they've been picking.
Yeah, if you gave them a choice to pick the 3 maps, I don't think you'd see much different from what's in front of you right now. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for Fnatic. These maps are good for them too. And there's ideas behind why they've chosen them, but there's a risk to it because the comfort level is there for Liquid. We can see that clearly. And the attacking side, 9 rounds, 6 advantage, and a pistol win under their belt here.
Oh, nail in the coffin.
Has to be.
It's a straight up retake. A little bit of damage onto Yumpy. Still a full utility belt for the side of Fnatic. Multiple flashes, Chronicle and Boaster. They've got what they need to try and make a play back into the site. But even still, this is not going to be easy. Chronicle with a first. Yumpy, again, I don't know how he gets anything from these positions. Trade back from Mystic does well, but still the advantage sits with Fnatic. Onto the defuse they go. Enzo going to try and slow them down, but those counter flashes making it awkward. They're not currently defusing, and now Enzo has it all to do. Looking to try and clutch out, and it will not happen. Alfia finally steps up to the plate. 3 kills with the pistol, and even a defuse for the extra orb.
A very much needed round for Fnatic procured, and good to see the smiles on their face. Like we say, this is the problem with a squad like Fnatic. No matter what lead you stack up against them, they're always going to come into it as if it's 0-0. Play for every round. If anything, they'll play for the clips. Alpha. Bit of a resurgence from that man as well, being a tough first half, but he just splits open this site and even closes out the round. The 3-piece for him, putting him back up around the middle of the board. These players waking up on Fnatic, it's a good sign.
What is this? What is this by? The attack side, Spectre and Bucky.
Yeah.
In a round you'd normally eco. Liquid, what on earth are you about to attempt?
Keep in mind, this is a buy. I mean,
it's
Enzo
Nats
and
is not
Yumpy.
bought, but everyone else has. This is odd.
It is one of the stranger second rounds after losing a pistol I've seen. There's many ways to buy up in these rounds, Tom, and I think a lot of teams will go for the Stinger. Or at least for uniform buys across the board, but let's see what the ideas are. Fnatic might be surprised on the way back through with what they're about to face off against, but a lot of it falls down to Yumpy and Enzo with those pistols still being able to do the damage. A drone bought up will be expended, and although it doesn't find a whole lot thanks to the knife coming through, it does delay them slightly. Got a ping off. Durka on his way around, outlaw in hand. Everybody now one shot to him, barring Yumpy, and there's the Bucky finding value. Up top though, Leo's good for 2, almost for 3. He's made it winnable, made it doable for the side of Fnatic, who now only face off against the ecoed Nats, the low-buy man in play, and he won't even find one. Maybe if he had a Bucky, Tom, that could have been different, but not to be.
Worryingly close as well. That's the scary thing. And if he wants to, he could even play a hero rifle, which he's already bought. Then try and do some extra damage going into this round. It seems like a way to just almost try and damage your opponent's economy as much as possible. The only thing about it is, if you don't win either of the rounds, okay, maybe you've kept them honest, but you've done it with them getting 2 more rounds than they would have had. So it definitely has its risks about it. And because of that failed force buy, even though it was costly, because they invested, it's not a success.
I do enjoy the vision of leaving Nats low buy as well, because this guy isn't involved in any of those initial fights. He's lurking up through mid, so if he has like a stinger or something like that, he's dead to a mid fight anyways. And if he doesn't, if he only has the classic, well then the only way he's getting involved in the fight is if he does manage to sneak behind them, which is exactly what happens. Then the weapon doesn't matter so much.
I do think he did get 1 kill.
He got it on short,
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So he snuck up short, so why give him a weapon to flank with when the 4 guys fighting should have the weapons, and he can then have this if things go wrong. So, very good idea. I like it.
Has, however, given that road a little bit of a boost for Fnatic. If they close this round out especially, which, well, you're going to have Nats needing to go nuclear. It might be a bit of a surprise, though, somebody even having a rifle. And yeah, Boaster has met that surprise. Unfortunately, Nats has already met his demise at the hands of Alpha, and now leaves it all on to Mystic. He's going to try some tricks, but that dart has kind of taken the magic away.
It has a little bit, hasn't it? Pulled the curtain up, and you could see it in broad daylight. 3-round gap. Hell of a difference from where we were just 15 minutes ago. Fnatic have really come back into things.
He's got 20 kills. Leo is 20 and 11, and they are losing by 3. He is having an insane performance, and that's the thing. One of the bits that has me most excited about casting this matchup, even in comparison to what we've seen in the past, is just the depth of talent we have on either side. Like, you're talking about players like Leo, Chronicle, Alpha, Dirk. We already talk about how crazy they are on an individual level. You look at the other side, Nats, Yumpy have been there for a while. The young guns coming up from that tier 2 for the exact same reason. One of these teams is out.
Big mid play from Team Liquid. They've made a lot of noise on the way through. You can see Leo is waiting to check it out. The flash should come through. He's ready for it. Anti-flash on the corner, but they're not pushing through. Wise to the potential trap plays of Fnatic, showing presence and then moving back in the other direction. This will put pressure onto the likes of Chronicle and Boaster, the two players defending this A site that's about to be trod all over. A lot of rifles for Liquid, but yeah, they don't have those ultimates. They don't have their way through it, but Mystic's paranoia, I assume, is going to lead the charge as they burst their way in. No, in fact, it's an IP. Chronicle almost gets timing by it.
Chronicle had his knife, though. It's going to give quite a bit of information for the rest of the team to rotate, but they need to get a move on. They're slowly being surrounded here. The thing is, though, Boaster's position is going to make things quite a bit more awkward. They're going to get to hold on to quite a lot of ground. It's more so how many can Chronicle take. The answer's already one. The second not quite going in his favor. And they have managed to isolate one of the battles at least. Dirk already going down. Nat's waiting on the corner. Alpha rounds it and wins the fight this time. Puts it back into an even scenario with Boaster still holding onto that ground. Kiko desperately low on HP, but he's got Mystic alongside him. And now it's down to Leo again, and not this time. Liquid turn things back to hit double digits first and still have themselves a 4-round lead.
That smoke came up on A main just in time. Boaster was about to have the swing of a lifetime. It would have been 3 players looking the other way to try and deal with the one down below, but Mystic got it off just in the nick of time to block that vision. And then obviously gets his own kill up top the very same way. Big round from him, not just in utility, but the rifle in his hand. And for the side of Fnatic, down by 4, coming up against a lot of ultimates now as well.
Shutting them down.
Keep in mind for Liquid, it was 3-0 start to this half into Fnatic's hands, but they force bought. They did a crazy force buy that didn't work out. Hero rifle for round 3. Once rifles come back out, they're looking that little bit better up until now. Beautiful disruptive play from Alpha Air. Spike on the floor, and Yumpy almost irretrievable at this point.
But yeah, the worst thing is the ult was actually cancelled by the KO ult. Nice bait though. They've actually managed to trade that out quite evenly. Now they've got to be careful of Enzo's gun, and actually Leo goes diving through. High amounts of risk, little reward from the Fnatic side. They've gone from having an advantage to, well, an evening up, but never mind. Just like that, it's a flip of a coin, as now a couple of players go down on the other side.
Mystics here in those steps, but they know that TP was used close. It was heard. He's just about dodged Boaster and knife out. It's the freest kill of Mystic's life. He's down to 32. It's at least a headshot that drops him in the end, so it's all onto Enzo. Shock Dart gone up straight in the air. It's going to be bouncing around for a little bit. He's trying to make them think that he's moved position towards main. He's buying time, but no. Here he is instead. The Odin doesn't find the first light, but it snipes Dirk out of the air. All left on the Chronicle. He'll be revealed in a moment, but safe behind the generator with 29 HP. Chronicle comes out on top.
For another one.
It could have been. Can you imagine? He steps on that spike to defuse it, and down comes the shock dart. But no, not today.
That's actually the funny thing there. I think if Enzo dies maybe a second earlier,
maybe
that other shock dart probably kills Chronicle, because it's only because he saw the first one that he goes, okay, I should probably keep an eye in case there's another one. Desperately close. A back and forth, and you can still see the Fnatic are taking a lot of risks in these fights, but with a lower buy.
That man.
Oh, he's gonna be livid when he watches that back. Probably said like 30 cool quotes the whole game, and that's the one they put up. Wow, it looks like a pretty pacey attempt was gonna come through. It's been cancelled out. Chronicle insta-popping the ult after steps are heard, and the stampede of Team Liquid comes to an immediate halt. The aggression from Fnatic replaces it. Dirk has gone walking out with Outlaw in hand, wanted to use his dash to find some free space and a free duel, but nothing's being offered up right now.
This is definitely where the game starts to get a little bit more dangerous for the side of Liquid. They managed to build up a pretty hefty lead in that first half, a streak of rounds, but we're starting to see those heroes, well, I would say heroes other than Leo, come online alongside Leo, because he's been there the whole time. I'm not going to take anything away from him. A close position from Boaster on the judge. I think it's versus the Bladestorm. It could have its problems, but he's just going to be spamming, looking to try and do as much damage as possible. And he's done damage, he's just not got any kills for it. A decent start to the round for the side of Liquid. They've got to deal with Chronicle, and that's exactly what Kiko does. Now that's another gun on the ground. They still have Hunter's Fury, this Bladestorm's still up, and Dirk is tagged.
30 seconds left.
Durka could be in trouble as well. That cage about to fade. Kiko's aware of it. He was watching it before the cage went up, and he'll be watching it when it goes down. But Durka finds them both. 2 barrels and 2 kills. Nat's last man standing, swung by Leo. He didn't stand a chance. 10 rounds for Liquid, 8 for Fnatic.
we were basically waiting for Durka to go down there, as it just seemed like they were so ready. And instead, well, there's that little bit of Finnish magic to bring them home another round. 10-8. The difference down to just 2. A single round is all the Liquid have managed when it comes to this attack side. But again, still got that Hunter's Fury. Still got themselves that Odin being purchased back up, although it hasn't had the same level of success just yet in comparison to the first half. On the other side of things, lockdown available as well, so you may see Fnatic attempt a retake if it gets to the late round. And with Alpha being solo, I almost wonder if it would just be used for delay.
Here.
I'm nervous when I see Durka getting aggressive like that. Sitting inside the smoke, looking for an opportunity. Dash is being used. Here he goes. The spam. It's a little too tight. The lip of the catwalk has blocked him off completely. And now it looks like he's going to give up on the aggression. No dash to get out. Cloudburst used instead. He'll dodge the shock darts, and Durka's out scot-free. They have lost map control. They haven't found the picks they were looking for that left them 3 stacked up on A. Now they go back out to find it, and Chronicle's about to step right into the crosshair of Yumpy. And it turns out Chronicle's a little quicker. He was ready for that position. And now a 5v4 unfolds that leaves Team Liquid thinking their best option is to run it back to the A site. But Chronicles come back to reinforce the troops. Not only that, but you've got Boaster here on the angle, and Durka up close, ready to fight. He'll only get the 1, but he's got plenty of teammates to fill the gaps. 40 seconds on the clock. Okay, Boaster down for 1, but that's good enough. Fnatic just need to stagger this aggression.
Yeah, and this is where, if they want to, they still have that lockdown available. It's so risky from Chronicle. Almost ending up punished in a scenario. I said they didn't need to. They have that lockdown. They can force players out of the site. Mystic is going to have to retreat and just play this one in post. Both players, in fact, going all the way back to the corner spot. And there we go. Wow, it's a good thing he did hold on to that nade. Now they can create some really awkward scenarios, just sticking this one through all the way, leaving it down to just Nats on 29, and he just has to save the gun. Solid from Fnatic in the retake. And while Liquid, I wouldn't mind to see a pause on their side now.
Yeah. After losing 6 of the last 7 rounds, I think it's a fair time for Liquid to call a timeout, and the prediction comes true.
It's forgivable for the first few. As we said, they took a lot of risks. They went for
whatever.
investments. They win a round, but then after that point, they've been shut down. A lot of the early fights have started to gut them out completely. So Liquid, unfortunately, with their changes of composition, aren't having the same amount of success that they would have done over on the attack. And needed a momentum reset, needed something to come in. Straight away, though, gonna have that Hunter's Fury popped. It's a plan to try and isolate Boaster. It's done a little bit of damage, but he's still standing.
Yeah, Shrouded Step got him out without too much to be worried about. And the stacks up on A are pretty decent. Boaster's the only one actually sat on site, but there's going to be a lot of support utility coming his way. And quick retakes from this side. Paranoia used. If anything, this is going to spur Team Liquid forward. The big flash taken out of play, the big piece of utility. Now they look to the site itself. They just need to uproot these players, and Boaster's quick to be dealt with. Chronicle up top to flank from Alpha Yair, completely unchecked. Backs were turned, but he's almost the only one to do damage. Another kill coming through onto Yumpy, but it's just not enough. At least not for most players to clutch it out. But Durka, well, he didn't buy a lot, and he invested a Blade Storm. He's going to have his best shot at this one. Still a dash, still an updraft to work with, and both Cloudbursts. The real problem is going to be dealing with these players, and you can see why right away he's taken out of the sky.
Yeah, I really like the late dart as well. Put outside the smoke just as it's about to fade, so when the smoke fades, he's screwed.
You gotta
go.
He
has to go somewhere. Great work from Mystic. He really has been having a fantastic game. It's one of the things that I feel like I've noticed over on this map for Liquid is that normally you'd have the disruption of Mystic setting up Kiko on the Yoru. I feel like Mystic has actually become the disruption. We've seen him TP into a lot of really risky angles, like try and take elevated positions, and it's playing more of like a quasi-smoke duelist. It's been really impressive for him on an individual level to keep what was the exciting thing about this composition.
Yeah, I think you have to give a lot of props to Yumpy for that as well. His support utility has been perfect. Even in some of the earlier rounds, when he was on A site, the B site pushes came through. He was the one rotating in to lob those flashes over, just to delay them that little bit longer, to open up opportunities like Nats grabbing the 2 kills from Boathouse when he swung out. That was off of a Yumpy flash. I think his support's been good. 11-9, 2 rounds needed for Team Liquid to close out their map pick. One that was looking almost undoubtedly to be theirs. It was in their pocket, but stolen straight out of it. Now Fnatic, weaker by Boaster on the A site with a weaker weapon. His retake ability is not going to be great.
Take flight.
It's the B site that has ultimately got eyes on it. Lots of players spotted by that drone. Looks like the info's there for Fnatic.
Oh! Dark has just jumped right in behind Nats. That's already going to be the lurk gone. Now things definitely become tougher. 2 players still here. Leo not missing a beat. And they've got to try and clear the man from the backlines. Yumpy has managed to do just that, and Chronicle caught out. Basically goes facing on his lonesome. And speaking of on his lonesome,
30 seconds left.
the spike is alone, but they can start rotating back in the other direction. Mystic looking to try and hold the line, stop them from chasing this man down, trying his best to TP out of there, but it's actually going to be the judge at range that does the damage. And now, the ice-cold Finn, Yumpy, left to try and clutch this one out. A 1v3 scenario to try and put the 12 for Liquid.
He took a step forward towards Generator. They think he's further back on the site. The recon even revealed no further push. It's all down to timing. Flashes perfect. It's caught them. He'll equalize it down a bit better. No, even in the 1v1. But the ace will not be found this time. Only 4 kills. You know, he gave it a good old shot, but not good enough. 10 rounds found for Fnatic, 1 away.
I don't know if the call was that he was low, but you see Leo jumping across with a classic in that. I think Nats also just had the fright of his life with Durka jumping in behind him. But again, Yumpy tried his best, but wasn't quite enough this time around. Another defusal, another plant.
Felt that?
He's trying to steal our jobs. 11-10. Ultimate online for Leo. The same can be said for the null command and the neural theft on that attack. The fact is, though, financially, Liquid are in a little bit of trouble here. They lose this round and they might be fighting up against 12 with just pistols.
Hunter's Fury is good. Damage is done. It's looking for more and not quite placed on the 3rd one. But with Kiko down already, big danger man already eliminated. Fnatic rotating in to stack up the A site that little bit more. B site held down by the Killjoy setup. And the mid control still going to be fought for by Durka. Has his dash. But later on if he needs it. And the drone is heard making its way towards him. Is it going to reach? No, it actually doesn't reach all the way into Pizza.
Yeah, they should calm that there's someone there. Maybe not. Durka gets that one almost for free. It didn't seem like Yumpy was aware that there could be anyone in that position at all, and that's a huge mistake for the side of Liquid that he's been able to get out of there with no problems whatsoever. 40 seconds left on the clock, and with everybody backing up, I wonder if Liquid have genuinely decided to save it. And honestly, I'm all for it. Like, putting your economy in the bin, giving Fnatic 11 and trying to fight for 12 with pistols, it's not worth the fight. And trying to go in for a 3 versus 5 with no information whatsoever, it would just be foolish. You'd be gambling purely on the individual brilliance of your team, which is there at times, but not worth it this time out. Fnatic's comeback, getting ever closer to being complete, and Liquid, it looks like they might be fumbling it again.
9-3 at the halftime. I think this is somewhere that, if I'm Team Liquid, I'm making the right call, saving over these weapons. You don't have Kiko, you don't have Yumpy to burst through to a site, even if you did want to take the 3v5. Having these guys online late round is important. But now, you have to wonder, do you still compete for that mid control? Here, you lost it off of a smoke and a recon, and then a player in a position who, and I mean, Durka didn't do anything special. He sat there, he waited the drone didn't get to him, and he just counted to 30. He's there the whole round.
I almost wonder, was that the recon or was that just the first tag? Because that might have just been literally just the tag.
Right,
I mean, it's such a small, like,
I think
opener.
I think you are right.
And that's what I mean. It's just, it's one of those things where it's unfortunate, but yeah, the follow-up is what's a little bit more damning, a little bit more worrying. And you can see as well, the Fnatic players in this defensive half are getting more and more confident as they go. Chronicle willing to peek that, Durka willing to fight that in the last round, willing to fight short, go for pre-fires. Like, you don't want these players getting into the zone because their zone is championship winning. For now, though, they're still going to have some vulnerabilities. 4 rifles in hand, but maybe not the ones you'd want, and Yumpy's going to be left down to a pistol. They're going to put the pressure onto Durka.
A man that does well under pressure. Already answers up for the first, the knife through, catching Durka, but he's already out. A dash is being used. He's on the site, ready to take another fight. The jump peek, not quite going to catch him. Wrapping around the Jenny, he's heard those steps, playing it so well. What a play! Durka's got 3. He's taken the round into his own hands. Mystic on 11 health. The last bastion for Team Liquid, and well, the same call as last time. Perhaps you want to go and save, but there's no choice to be had. You have to fight for that weapon, and that's not a fight that they will win. Team Liquid down on 11 while Fnatic surpassed them. 12 rounds found, and map point on the very last round of regulation. What an impressive comeback from that defensive side, and Team Liquid have got to feel devastated.
Yeah. A ring around a Rosie, they all fall down. I've heard that one in nursery rhymes, but I didn't think I'd be seeing it in Valorant. Just completely outplayed, but also
you can see them go down by any margin. Unless 13 is on the board, you do not give up. You do not take your foot off the gas, and this is exactly why now they stand the possibility of finishing this map out in regulation, but falling into their pocket with Fnatic's map pick up next as well. A devastating start for Liquid, and they're denied any aggression on A. The wrap around to B, but they haven't caught these players off guard. Fnatic are still here, still waiting, and Kiko is dropped immediately. Alpha's not stopping either.
Yeah, it's been a slow start for so many members of Fnatic, but when they need it most, everyone seems to arrive. 3 remaining for Liquid to cling on a map they look like they had their grasp on. They had a holdover for the majority of that first half, and Durka, he's going to try and maybe go for a wallbang. It's not even needed. Leo's just too quick. He's been fantastic throughout the entirety of the map. He kept them in it, and it would be fitting if he was there to close it. The fact is, Yumpy will face anyone, and it may not matter. He is going down. There are 5 Fnatic players waiting to finish this man off, and eventually it's Durka to do the job. And Andaluthia flawless, and a flawless defensive side from C versus Gentleman's. Doing that versus Gentleman's is one thing, doing that versus Fnatic, completely different ballgame.
Doing it the first time is one thing as well.
Yes.
Doing it the second when a team's ready, when they bring in a comp that's good for controlling the map. That can be a completely different story. Team Liquid need to come in with confidence, and it looks like they have. Barriers up, and Yumpy's up too, but they're ready. Fnatic sitting back in a default, waiting for aggression. They know that that's what you're gonna get with this composition. A team that wants to be up in your face early, so they stand back and get ready for a big strike when that happens. It doesn't come down to a kill to start with, but it does delay that aggression from Liquid and leave them in their B plan, which might even be to fall back towards the site in a moment.
Yeah, with already a couple of players tagged up. Althea's been told they're going to try and battle and duel, and he's bought a sheriff. I'm going to be honest, I believe in Althea. We know what this man can do, and they are pushing right into him. He's on the angle, waiting, even going to be shooting at the turret, but he's only going to get the 1. Kiko's able to trade, but more importantly, he's able to get his health right back up to maximum.
The wall used deep as well. It's going to narrow down these fights to just 1 laneway so the whole team can focus up. Nats has managed to slip past, but only good for the 1 despite damage onto Chronicle. Yumpy doesn't have a way back in. I mean that quite literally. There's a wall blocking him. So from this point, it is going to be a slow round as he either waits for that ice to melt.
In 7 seconds, he can try and TP back on top of it.
Oh, wow. That would be helpful here.
It would be an almost instant death, but it would be entertaining. The thing is, though, he's not even going to get past the first hurdle, which was Boaster, as Fnatic will take themselves the pistol round and get off to a start on their own map choice.
Waiting for the day we have map effects. The Sage Wall doesn't actually break on Icebox, but on Breeze, you're out of here.
It just turns to water.
Instantly.
It's just a puddle.
But it makes you slippy, so you can't stop and shoot.
Please never do this. This is why you're not allowed to have ideas.
Am I wrong though? That's what the ice should have been. When you put ice on the ground, you can't stop in it, so you just keep sliding. But whatever, you know, game design, we'll discuss that later. I'll be in touch with the devs. 1-0 for Fnatic so far, and Team Liquid will not be coming in with a funky force buy for round 2. Instead, a little bit more of conventional play for us as we get classics across the board, barring Kiko, and I suppose barring Yumpy. He'll always have that headhunter in his back pocket.
Yeah, it's always going to be dangerous with a few bullets in hand, but you can see the Fnatic, again, employing what we've seen from Na'Vi so many times, that 3 rifle, 2 pistol, allows for a few mistakes, and then gives them a pretty strong buy going into the next round. Definitely a bit of a backup plan. Also means that you can use some of those pistol players to farm up some orbs, and more importantly, act as fodder. For now, though, it is a complete stack up of the A site. And up until a moment ago, there wasn't even a single player in the vicinity of B. Realization has been there for Liquid, but will it be too little too late?
I think in terms of the push, it most certainly will be. Unless Fnatic gets slowed down a lot, but hard to imagine what Liquid could do to slow down this team. Even the Viper wall is already placed towards that A site. So they have nothing really to push these players back. The space taken, the plant come through, and the flank even abandoned in favor of grouping up and using those numbers to try to power your way through the setup in play. But Fnatic have range, they have numbers, and they have rifles to work with. Getting even a kill or 2 here would be impressive, and well, they have managed that at the start. That was only Chronicle who was up close. The rest of the squad are keeping a safe distance.
Yeah, the Fnatic post plants is where they made their name. So much utility being dropped, but more importantly, players as they go, earning up those ultimate orbs per player. You see Enzo hoping that maybe someone gives him an angle, makes a mistake, but other than that, plan is to just go down to the spike, hold on to everything for the next round, and Fnatic will be perfectly fine with that. They get to keep their 3 rifles in hand, have a pretty decent economy going into the next round, and the fact is there's going to be no easy round for Liquid to take, no weak weapons. This will be 5 rifles.
Yeah, the early round setup works perfectly for Fnatic economically. Stacked up and ready to go, while Team Liquid, and this is what we touched on at the start of the last map for Team Liquid, it's not the same story as Fnatic. Fnatic can go down 10 rounds, and I'll still believe in their possibility to bring it back, not least because of the squad. They're an easy one to believe in, but because of the history, because they've shown us many, many times that they can do that. For Team Liquid, if Fnatic do get the ball rolling, get confidence high, well, this setup from Liquid relies on confidence. And we're going to see that in this round right now, as Yumpy has already gotten up close.
He's very far forward, though. So far forward, in fact, he would be in trouble, but it doesn't look like he has any plans of escaping. That's what his util really allows for, but there wasn't any plan there. He was just hoping to take those firefights, and already picking off Boaster, removing all of that Viper utility is huge, and Kiko has done exactly the same on the other side of the map. It's a little awkward, but he'll escape with his life.
Yeah, the Outlaw's got a shot off on him, though. Can't allow that to happen again, but it looks like the wall will give him a safe passage back. The idea was good. Firing that second shot through the wall, it could have worked out, but not this time. Sage heal, well, still vulnerable to an Outlaw, but now they've gone to the rifles. Fnatic
That guess
to make
correct.
their way through A.
That shock dart landed on his head. He's right back down to low HP again. Kiko has to try and do something a little bit audacious. It seems like Durka might do the opposite. Straight through the smoke. Enzo caught off guard. The spray's decent, but Kiko's still surviving, and now can actually heal himself up for a second time.
Plan's coming through, but the swing is as well. Yeah, the confidence for Fnatic is certainly there, but it's left Leo in a 1v3, a familiar situation. One that he's won before, and now he's just a pixel away from spotting where Yumpy is. Trying to root out that final player. Another tap. He's got him. He knows he's up close. Great read from Leo. 6 seconds. Another tap. But this time, the read is there. He's going to try to kill it. He has to find the elimination. There's no time anymore, and they will not root Nats from his position. Patience play from Nats that works out perfectly.
I think if it's anybody else in that scenario, maybe they swing, maybe they peek, maybe they take a risk, but
you just look.
Nats is the calmest person in the server. So that's the one thing that was kind of against Leo in that scenario. He's the only player that isn't going to take that risk. Even still, though, you have to bear in mind that that was Fnatic still saving some economy in the back. And the amount of damage that Leo alone was able to do has made that round so much more costly. It's going to put Mystic back onto a Judge. Yumpy, okay, with an outlaw, that's not too much of a detriment. There you go.
Sorry?
There you go. Not too much of a detriment.
Yeah, pretty weak weapon. Can't really get anything done with that. But, well, as we can see, Yumpy most certainly can. 140 tags, so dangerous. 2 players here, Chronicle and Boaster, playing without those shields. Only light shields, without the heavy. And that's the only thing that can save you from the ire of Yumpy in this round. He's got a challenge up close, but Alpha, full HP, now a little bit lower, but that wall was thick enough to keep him alive, and he follows up with another. Sure, Nats gets him in the end. The slow ward made it impossible for him to leave the snake bite, but that only equalizes numbers. And for Fnatic, that's perfect, because this map, they know there's players towards the B site, and the rotations have probably come in. So they'll spread the net out and look for where the gap currently resides. In fact, they'll spread out, walk back, and then set up for a B retake. They want to have Team Liquid either rotate passively through the spawn or get aggressive. It's a little bit of both with Mystic behind yellow. If he's not spotted, this could be dangerous.
Dodge the dart.
Does he get curious?
And that might actually start pulling players away from this side of the map. You can see
30
Kiko starting
seconds
to clear out the kitchen. Do they actually check towards yellow? That's the main thing. Timing is not good for Enzo. He's going to get dropped, but Mystic is still here. Tag low on HP. They don't know where Kiko is, but they do know where Mystic is, but he lands the shot anyway. A huge round from him. And Kiko's there to finish things off. Liquid back onto the board and level with Fnatic.
I don't mind Fnatic's idea to double back in that situation. I'm surprised Liquid still stuck around. And they even got themselves that little jump scare on Enzo. Being able to get so close on the site without the info in the hands of Mystic. This was unlucky for Yumpy. The fact that I think both shots hit. Didn't look like he really moved his crosshair, so I'm pretty sure both
the
connected
combo
with
as
the wall.
well of the slow and the snake bite was almost to force him into that position.
And if that snake bite hits him, then that one shot will be enough, but timing was a little bit off.
Oh, here we go again. Alpha's kept himself a rifle in this round. Kiko, it's dangerous to go for the dart, but Alpha's just not missing. He was slow to start the last game, but he's been getting better as they go along. He's got the only weapon in this round, but sometimes in the past that's been enough.
Well, there's a reason the man's gun is glowing. Putting in a lot of work so far. This rifle's already picked off Enzo, grabbed the opening. The Team Liquid have rotated into position. Wall going up now, denying them for just a little while. Slows do somewhat of the same. When the push comes to shove for Fnatic, it's really the weapons that should leave them down in the dirt. Ult available for Kiko, might want to be used on this low HP, but he'd still need to find someone to connect on afterwards, and, well, he's done just that. Nats picking up 2, and this is the disadvantage of these weaker weapons. When you take those fights, you won't always be able to win them. That first shot doesn't connect. Nats is even going hunting. He's feeling confident with his ult online, and he's given away a kill, an opportunity to Chronicle. With still 35 seconds, a rifle now retrieved, and low HP on Kiko. I'm getting worried that that might have been an overheat, but Kiko's position proves to be superior, and the lead goes to Team Liquid.
Yeah, we've definitely seen moments already in the game where things could go wrong for Liquid, but they're able to convert the rounds at least. A decent one from Kiko in the end, and Nats facing off, but that was just a hero rifle. Just a singular gun put into the hands of Alpha to try and make things costly. Fnatic, though, it's been 3 rounds in a row to their opponent.
30 seconds.
And actually, the ults are building up across the board. Like, we haven't really seen anything invested from either side just yet in this many rounds. And with a Viper's Pit, a lockdown on the other side, and as said, almost every single ult 1 or 2 away, I think this is going to be an interesting round.
The aggression out of Liquid is on B this time. But they'll be spotted as they make their way forward.
Here.
A-side defenders have a choice on their hands. Whether you still compete for this, it looks like they will just try to pick them off, use their slows and snake bites to slow down the actual plant and buy some room for the flank. But having been spotted by the turret, they abandon that, move back towards the site. Here's the slow play. Nice connection on the first, hard to get out. The damage done to Alpha and Chronicle. With the lockdown in play now with no Hunter's Fury to counter. Looks like they're fighting instead. Kiko's already grabbed one up close to double up on Nats's, and it doesn't look like he's stopping. Going forward to try to destroy this lockdown. He almost didn't do it, but just about gets out of there with another kill, a lockdown destroyed, and a man advantage for the side of Liquid. These players, though, are knocking on their door, looking to take this fight very quickly, and if they swing onto Leo, the chance for Boaster to catch something around the side is there. He's even found Kiko a beautiful one-way.
30 seconds left.
With the Viper's pit available, it might not be a bad idea to put it in.
Yeah, the thing is, Leo's a little bit further behind. I think he's waiting for maybe a little bit of extra cover before that ultimate is used. Needs the spike to get over as well. And timing's going to be everything. Yumpy's just missed it. Looked away at the wrong moment. The dart's good. And they still haven't got the plant in. Leo hits the shot. 2 HP. And this time Enzo does peak. It's the opposite to the last clutch for Leo. This time he wanted that spike down. And instead the IGL is just ahead of it. Another close clutch round for the side of Liquid. But they're starting to run away with this again.
They are. Yeah, that early lead now secured, doubling up the rounds of Fnatic, doing damage to the economy of the attacking side as well. And in this round, when there seemed to be a lot of threat, somehow, not only one peek out of Kiko and a few shots put into the lockdown, but he dismisses, goes around the other side, destroys the lockdown, gets a kill, and gets out. In moments like that, you can understand this composition, because whilst you might be limiting your utility and your abilities, the reality is, giving someone like Kiko an agent that he can go into fights, and if he finds the kill, get out scot-free, it's paid off in even the last 6 rounds more times than I think any other agent would.
It's one of those agents as well, when it comes to a lockdown, you're actually in a good spot to fight. You get a kill, you can dismiss, and you're not going to get caught. Nonetheless, still some danger in this round. A couple of ultimates available, tour de force for Yumpy, but I'm more looking at that Viper's Pit and the amount of SMGs that are currently online. I wonder if Fnatic are going to try and attempt to use this. The problem is just how many personnel are here. Liquid have an eye on everybody, excluding Yumpy on this side of the map. In fact, Kiko, he's going to go for the play! He sprays down a couple, has support, and it's a nice shot or two out of Fnatic, but ultimately, it's a complete shutdown of any plan they had.
At the very least, though, Tom, those 2 kills coming through, it's going to keep the economy somewhat managed for Liquid with reinvestments coming in, but this sort of play, the wall drops and you just go swinging. You expect normally there'll be a flash or something like that. Well, with this composition, you're like
attack side. This is where they've always looked solid versus Koi, 8 and 4 on the attack. I'll have to see if they've still got any bite left to their icebox.
Get out of my way!
This round with 4 ultimates, one already burned right off rip, is where I expect Fnatic to do some damage. The Blade Storm for Durka has been deadly in the past. Kiko got a good spot to play from. Pushed up in tube, and it looks like he'll take the timing as they spam up the wall. I love this setup. But actually finding something from here is tough. With a Killjoy turret, watching your every move.
Back.
Oh, nice shot.
So clean from Yumpy. And he's able to keep control of Yellow as well. He hasn't fallen back to the site. They're going to put some util in to try and disrupt him, but Dirk has found him. Fin on Fin. And Dirk is going to go for a little bit more, but he's not found anything. Hunter's Fury also utilized. I don't know if the call's been there for Nats, but he's going to try and make a play off of it, and the rest of Fnatic are waiting. Kiko, though, that flank comes in quick. Puts things back into a 2v2, and bear in mind, Alpha is on his last legs.
That was very important for Kiko. Sitting around that whole time, waiting for the turret to go offline. Eventually, Alpha stepped out of range. Now he's low on HP, but finding a spot in the corner on the bottom of sight. A trap being set with one player baiting them in, and Kiko caught with knife out. It's all onto Enzo, and he has to fight through a Viper's Pit to get this done, even being watched by a turret. Shock dart is good! It didn't catch him. It didn't catch him. It must have went just past Alpha. In fact, it looked like it was going to hit him in the legs. Perhaps it went straight through. Reveal up close. Not going to do anything for him.
They've gone.
And as Enzo goes running through, and both haven't gone, Tom. Only one. Alpha still sat behind, and as the pit fades, it's a clean kill for Alpha Yer. 3 rounds on the board now for Fnatic, and that pause did them well.
Yeah, it might not be the cleanest round of all time, especially with Kiko managing to get in on the flank. But the way they played that 2 versus 2 was brilliant from start to finish. The idea to bait with the spike, even put up the screen so there's an opportunity for the peek through it from Alpha, yeah, perfect. Catches Kiko. He literally, as you said, he had his knife out, wasn't ready for anything. And then also the bait with the Viper's Pit. Put it up. You leave Alpha behind low on HP. If he goes down, it's a 1v1 with a post plant. A good opportunity for Boaster. But instead, he ends up finding both kills while desperately low on HP.
Absolutely gorgeous. A well-deserved round for Fnatic, and one that has put Team Liquid in a bit of an uncomfortable spot. Yumpy has a classic as his main weapon. Of course, still, as we said, that Headhunter's always going to be there, but his options are that little bit more limited. Mystic, well, He won't be fighting.
Look how far Kiko is gone. He's actually going to end up having to...
No, he can get past it.
Oh, no, he can. He can go all the way around it. Alpha, if he takes a step back, could be in so much trouble. Kiko's just clearing so much ground. Every single member of the Liquid team, bar him, is now on the other side of the map. And Alpha is none the wiser that this has been given up completely. The problem, though, is if he doesn't move, there's nothing that Kiko can really do about it. And he doesn't want to abandon his post as the mid defender. So he may have to go back just in case. It's created a very peculiar round with Fnatic now walking into a stack. And a plant is integral to their plan.
I mean, the patience from Alpha to sit in this corner for the last minute has kept him alive, and he might even have massive impact in the late round. Turret was taken back. Kiko shouldn't be aware of this position, and Alpha gets the jump on him. Shut down at least, and Yumpy will retrieve a weapon. Okay, there's an opportunity.
Oh, what?
There was an opportunity. It just got snatched out of their hands. Crazy peek from Durka. They're ready for Yumpy. They know that this push can be coming up behind. They're watching it like hawks. Chronicle, good for the one. The second player, though, might not be expected. Doubling up has its value. And Mystic, he's creeping through, finding one, finding two, and now leaving it all on the Boaster. Spotted on the corner and taken down. Mystic on the flank. It was their third flank of the round, Tom, but eventually, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
I honestly thought the original plan was for him for Yumpy to take that kill and then him just to res. I was like, okay, he'll just bring him back, they'll try and fight this together. Maybe he gets one kill, goes for the res. But it was just tunnel vision from Mystic. He knew what he needed to do, he knew he was going to get fought, and he hits every single shot. In the first map, he was fantastic, even though it slipped away. And while this round is going to be a huge difference maker for them around the, in all honesty, up until that point, looked like it was ropes. Instead now for Fnatic, it's obliterated their economy. Sure, they still have the res, but they've used everything else up over the last couple of rounds. And while Liquid still have a plethora of ults.
It's always beautiful watching Mystic work his magic. Used to seeing it on the controller, but no different on the Sage this time. That res still in the back pocket as well as a Viper's Pit. And one step closer to a Hunter's Fury. Opening pick goes to Enzo, catching Alpha, getting aggressive up on Belt. Have sent out a little bit more to this play than just a control on the side of Fnatic. Look how close Durka is already. Damage done. He's lit down to 45, and Yumpy even gets out information in their pocket too.
Yeah, Yumpy knows that if you're shooting for more than a second, that can be enough to lose your head. The fact is, though, the Chamber's allowing him to play a lot of really obscure angles. They're not angles that, as Durka, you're going to pre-fire. You're not going to pre-angle any of these positions, and that's why Yumpy's doing it. Just to create awkward fights that give him a leg up in almost every single position. 40 seconds left. Res available, but won't be used, at least at this stage, for Fnatic. It's only going to be if they can get themselves into the late round. They've got to be careful of the flank. This time, though, Yumpy had no exit plan. It's more so a chance to set up Nats, and he's done so much damage already.
Even picking up Chronicle through the wall, double flank underway. They're not ready for either. It was Alpha who was picked off first in this round, so that turret not online. It's a clear message being sent to Kiko and Mystic. But with Nats down and Enzo too, it's only the flankers that remain. Weaker weapons, sure, and Poster falls quickly, but Leo still to be dealt with 7 HP. Not quite enough to tank that first shot. Liquid will find the defuse, but 7 rounds on the board. And Tom, all in all, it's another decent first half under their belt, but that didn't mean too much when it came to Ascend.
No, this is reminding me again of when we saw Fnatic play up against Foot. You knew what was coming. It was a comp we didn't expect to work more than once. The team have run it again, and Fnatic don't look like they have adaptations. Like they have ideas to actually stop what Liquid are doing, because the fact is it is very much the same. Like they are looking fantastic on an individual front. We've seen Kiko just run pretty much through A almost every single round, or through mid. Like he's just taken that space for free. And normally what I give credit to Fnatic for is these defaults. Holding, delaying. They were doing it in the first couple of rounds. Since then, they've been trying to go for these more direct B takes, and they've been wrecked because of it.
In fact, here's the adaptation from Fnatic, right? Early presence on B, some control fought for, and they look for that aggression on A. You have 3 or 2 players still sat around, up on belts, trying to catch an aggressive angle. Now they're worried about him even being up in nest. But it's a switch of pace. Instead, it's the B site that the
yeah,
push has come
still,
in.
this is the thing. Like, we've seen this from Yumpy. Now it's Kiko. He's taken deep B control. So again, you have one player that can just watch towards mid. In fact, Mystic still has a wall, which he's now going to use. So that's delayed if they were going to push in that direction and gives information. And so now they have themselves every player bar that one on this side of the map. Enzo up above, not going to be expected. An easy pick, even with the res, but the trades coming back. Fnatic are making these fights close at least.
Ambitious to make that play. Oh my god, Kiko's gotten past the turret again. He is in the absolute perfect position. They're going to be banging their heads against the wall. If they end up back turned to this man again. Oh, but he whiffs! None of the shots connect this time. Finally, Fnatic are able to deal with that flank, although you can't help but think kind of fell out of their hands, whether they did or not. Enzo's here, Odin in play, 16 seconds. They just need to stop the spike from being planted, but that's a pretty big ask. Wall goes in. So too will the spam in return. Oh, just about breaking it open, but Chronicle manages to get away with it. 30 HP is enough. With Nats down, this round is looking done and dusted. The credits in the bin a little bit. You might consider the save if he can get out of here. And it's not just about crossing back to the spawn. There's also a gap that's being watched down below, and Alpha delivers the final blow, 7-4. Oh, what was that? Okay, Alpha's ready to go. One round left to fight for, and it could be a 7-5 half. That's not bad for Fnatic, getting their attack side out of the way early.
Well, yeah, that was saved by Boaster in more ways than one. Like, getting the opener on the site, but more so, I don't know what it was, just a sixth sense to turn back around, but otherwise that round completely goes astray. It's the second time we've seen that as well. Do you remember, I think it was Tomazi, the exact same, he had that really deep position. We're building it up like it's going to be the greatest play ever, and yeah, just caught. It's painful. And for Liquid again, like, we've seen them choke from a 9-3, slip-ups like that, mistakes that look like it could all go in their favor. Tour de force for Yumpy though. He's been devastating with this gun.
He's going up. There's a small gap there to get back out if he can reach it, but there's a player up top. Good connection, no way out. Just the one to be found. B site that little more open. And the Hunter's Fury finding not a whole lot. Healing back up any players tagged, and the spike now sets its sight on the sites. This is where it can be dangerous. Viper's Pit's about to be online with this plant. That's why you see Boaster going for it. And a Viper's Pit with disadvantage is going to be near impossible to get back through.
Oh, they're going to try and get in quickly. Mystic's been good, but he can't do anything versus that Viper utility. An attempt to wrap around. Kiko has a way in and a way out. That's the only real benefit he can find in this scenario, but he's all left alone, and Alfred's there to close it out. Solid half for Liquid, but in the end, Fnatic have that decent resurgence we've seen from them so many times. And that setup for me is actually a little bit more interesting, because in most cases, a Hunter's Fury combined with disruptive play, I think is good. But for Yumpy, it kind of revealed him. Like, I understand the idea, but it's like, he has a surprise factor with an ability to TP. Instead, you make it so they're going to have to move. And unfortunately, I guess it hits the one player that's going to go up.
Yeah. Not an easy follow-up. 2-round gap at the half. For Team Liquid, it's a very tough position to play from, because what you have to think about is the fact that, sure, we move through to playoffs. There is a lower bracket, but not for these teams.
No.
You lose this series, your chances are gone. And for Team Liquid, they almost had map 1. They would have had another chance on Lotus, but they've got to take that chance and make it their own now.
I think as well, you have to put the context of the orgs. Liquid, Fnatic, expectations are always high. Not making it to 2 events will be huge, and Alpha's already kicked it off with a bang. Kiko, one of the heroes of the first half, is already gone. From a util perspective, it won't be the end of the world. They can play in those post plants, but, well, in fact, all they've got left is shock darts.
So those advantages, someone needs a pick on the way through. The aggressive positions for Liquid. Problem is, Yumpy can TP out, and you'll have Mystic very much isolated. He has to be the one to find a lot of damage. Yumpy, no TP. Instead, he's taken out by the shock dart. Sent to another dimension. Shots landing for Nats, but it might not be enough. There's just too many players left on the other side. Fnatic win out the pistol and push up to 6 rounds. The gap now 1. And for Team Liquid, we can't see Fnatic get off to a flying start on this map, because there will be next to no room for them to come back in if that happens.
Good start from Alpha, but again, it's some of the counter utility. There wasn't a lot really to play with, and that's again one of the sort of deficits of this composition for Liquid is you lose a lot of that post-plant util not having that killjoy available to you, but you also lose some of that initial space taken that you get from the Jet as well. And now you best believe, although Durka might be at the bottom of the board, going into that defensive half, having the sniper in hand, he's only going to get more terrifying. And it's the opposite to what we saw last time. Before we saw the whole team invest in him save, now he's the only one investing and everybody else is saving. Probably not the start they were looking for either. Maybe a gap that could be isolated, but well, immediately Durka hones back in.
Well, the shot has landed long range to Chronicle. But what's most concerning is, in fact, that Nats has to land almost every shot. Sure, one hit up against every one of these Fnatic players, but just look at the setup. Durka sitting back with an outlaw of his own. Waiting for the wrap around the side, utility on its way. Shock dart's good to slow. Okay, the wall is up. They'll manage to cross with it, maybe even get a plant, but the numbers are being taken out of their hands. With every passing second, Leo, aggressive position. Worked out beautifully. 2 bullets left. He's going for the reload. Decent timing for Mystic, but no weapon retrieved. I don't think he's going to take this fight with a classic. Just biding his time up top.
Left.
And here comes the swing. Oh, it's even.
It's not even. It's Leo.
What?
I was about to say, a little bit to the left, and he's going to get that kill, and eventually it's all revealed. 7-7. Scoreline equalized. Again, a lead of 7-3, which has been a 4-round streak for Fnatic. They've started their comeback a little bit earlier this time out. And of course, they're still going to have some pretty dangerous weaponry in this round. And for the other side, you have to bear in mind that there has been a loss because of what Nat's invested. So he's going to only be playing with a pistol. Now, of course, for the most part, you're going to see him lurking. You're going to see him in the back lines trying to take space. So that's not a huge issue. But it's not a round where you want to be going into a deficit, especially when there's 2 outlaws.
Alpha, I thought he'd be in danger, but somehow he's able to take the first kill. A clean shot onto Yumpy. Wasn't the best weapon for the fight. Oh, Kiko, you've got to be careful. He thought they'd be a little further back, but Fnatic's aggression and how quickly they fill in these positions catches them off guard. Team Liquid, 2 versus 4. This has been a devastating start to the round with a plant not even secured at this point, and difficult to secure with Durka hot on their tails. They have to find some kills. Mystic does well to find the first, but even then, with him being low and the self-heal not bringing him back to 100, you have to hope Nats is able to get massive value from this position.
Toxins going up.
Definitely not going to be easy. This is the man you're looking at, but again, Outlaw waiting on the angle.
Spike down.
Bosa's already going to connect. Mystic's been good, but as you said, those heals aren't what they used to be. It's going to leave him desperately low. 30 seconds left, and the call may even have to be just to try and hold onto the gun. Bring something through into the next round, have an opportunity to do some damage. He's had a hero play or 2 throughout this map, and plenty throughout the series. But it looks like the bleak is about to get a little bit bleaker. Bear in mind, this was a bonus round. A couple of Outlaws, Guardian. It wasn't the prettiest of buys for Fnatic. It was still decent. But they had won this round by, what, the first 20 seconds?
Yep. Oh, it was a very quick decision. A very easy one for us watching on. After that first scrap goes down. It's not even the first one, right? Because Yumpy being traded out, this isn't too bad. You drop Alpha, you open up a lot of control, but it's the kills that come in after that. This control dropped by Kiko as he gets that little bit too aggressive, a little bit too early. And Tom, you know, it was worth looking at coming into this. We started out the year, at least we started out the stage, talking about Fnatic and how this core 5 had never been on a 3.
A little bit cursed, but for Liquid, that's not what the fans expect. That's not what the org expects. And for Fnatic, well, we don't even need to talk about that one. You win 2 championships last year.
I mean, Fnatic were in a position where even going into the last game of their season, Liquid could have eliminated them. It was possible, depending on rounds, depending on scores, and that's what it came down to. Not a team that would be comfortable qualifying the playoffs off of a round difference. But they managed it, just about. And now, when it comes down to a head-to-head, it seems like they have a pretty definitive idea of who the better squad is. One map under their belt, their choice here on Icebox, and now they get the defensive side. Remember, Liquid decided to start on the defense. That could be their better half behind them already. And with Mystic down, it's not looking like things are going to get any better this time around. They have got weaker weapons, but that was a rifle that will now be retrieved. An opportunity for Kiko to find the value now.
He definitely has been the player to watch thus far in this map. But they're going to need a whole lot more from him. Fnatic on these retakes so far have looked sublime. The early rounds have looked fantastic, and already just starting to use some of the utility to clear him. He's still close, but already being revealed, being surrounded. And the rest of the team just that little bit further away. They don't have the util to really deny anything, and while it doesn't get much better than that for Fnatic, this is a round that will end with an Andaluthia flawless. They're 9th onto the board, and straight after a pause as well, you'd have hoped for at least a little bit more from Liquid, but this is the round where they actually have a bye.
Well, that's it, right? Those pauses, you can discuss the plan for that round. A lot of the time, information finding, limit testing. But this is the round where everything comes to a head. With rifles in play, with your economy on the line, and with a potential big lead for Fnatic. If they win this one 3 rounds up, facing into a lower bye. Ultimates are coming online for that defensive side too, and a little bit further behind on Team Liquid. This could be where Fnatic take it, where they find that final stretch to the finish line. 2-round gap doesn't seem like a lot, but in the context of how things went and how they will go with this round loss, that lead's going to be extended very quickly. Defensive Fnatic play all over mid. A lot of presence here, and very passive on A, which is Killjoy utility, spotting for the aggression. Alarm bot, a key piece of utility to watch the back.
That's the big thing. They've already got themselves Hunter's Fury to try and deny the plant, and they've also got themselves the lockdown available to retake it. They are set up for this already. You can see just players outside of the site, they are just waiting. Could even put in a slow to try and make things more awkward. This is a set play from Fnatic to try and make things as awkward as possible for the side of Liquid. Hunter's Fury is only going to delay though. Nothing more to be had, no damage dealt, which for Liquid won't be too bad. And Yumpy gonna go walkabout's, gonna try and get ahead of some of that utility, but will be forced back.
Yeah, but Kiko isn't. He stuck around a second longer, but they know that lockdown's likely to come through. Kiko not backing off though, as we said before. He's gonna look for a kill, the dismiss, or perhaps even the destruction of that ulti. It doesn't come through. Nats on his lineup, fires through a snake bite, waits for the pulse, and now here comes the second. Looking to delay that diffuse, but Alpha's taking space, being proactive. Only the one to be found. Shock dart in, finds nothing. Yumpy now goes through for his turn and misses the shot. The numbers staying in favor of Fnatic with Nats, the last man standing, and all 3 taken down by Durka. Plenty of time left for that diffuse, and double digits locked in for Fnatic. It doesn't even come that close when you consider how Durka one-man armies the last play.
Well, that's the thing with this composition. You need to be aggressive, you need to be in their face on that attack side, and Fnatic basically had the ultimates in this round to go, no, we're going to make sure you delay the plants. We have everybody rotated in, ready to go for a retake. Use that lockdown to force you back, and once you're forced back, you don't have the post-plant utility to delay us long enough. That's the thing. They had to use the snake bites immediately, otherwise somebody could have got onto the diffuse just like the round before. And then it comes down to, what, a shock dart or 2? It's just not going to be enough.
Now we spoke about Liquid and how they managed to best their, at least for the core 3, their rivals from last year, the tier 2 champions, Gentlemates. Even on this map, absolutely demolished them, same composition. But now the tier 1 champions, they proved to be a different beast altogether. 3 rounds in the lead. Team Liquid are able to buy themselves at least a couple rifles, and it could work out if they manage to get the Viper's pit in play. Nice shot by Yumpy, great shot by Kiko, and the B side has been taken. The late play by Nats even, it looks like he just managed to slip through. They think he backed off, at least the body language tells you that. But Nats thread the needle somehow. I mean, they're looking at Enzo. Maybe they think that's the guy they saw moments ago. The plant is coming in. So much is happening. It's distracting the players, and that's when Nats gets a free kill onto Chronicle. With back turned, this delays Leo's rotation back to the site. I mean, at least I thought it would. But he's dropping Nats. Now a 2v4, winnable with low HP on Enzo and Kiko.
Yeah, you can already see the wrap back around the Mystic's going to try and basically reclaim the ground that was lost when Nats fell. There would need to be some pretty crazy shots connected. Not bad from Alpha, though. He's at least going to get himself one. But for Leo, there's not really anything to be had. It looks like Mystic's trying to hunt him down on the other side of the map. And in the meantime, Leo has other ideas. His goal is to try and make this round as costly as possible. Nobody realizing that he's still around this corner, but it's only going to be the one. A couple of players dropped in the end, but Liquid have finally found some form, found a round that came off the individual ability of Kiko and Yumpy. There's some pretty high impact openers. And luckily for them, the ult economy is firmly stacked within their favor.
That's their way back through. Their foot in the door. It won't be closed on them. A 2-round gap, 4 ultis, like you said. Big advantage for Team Liquid to play with. Here, I think Nats did a fantastic job of sneaking up through middle. One of the main things you're going to look at in some of the compositions we've seen earlier on in the tournament was mid-control without a Killjoy. So difficult, because that alarm bot is so pivotal. Even with the alarm bot, he managed to sneak past it, which I have to say is close to a first for me. Dirk is getting aggressive, but there's no one there to await him. At least there wasn't. Mystic is just around that corner on the boxes.
That's the thing. I think it was actually a shot connected from the site that forced them back. Yeah, Yumpy's going to try and make a play through mid. You'd think that with the alarm bot not down there, they're going to have a stronger hold of this side. You can look at the passive position that Leo is currently holding to try and watch this from afar, but it would just be a slight step backwards that could cost Chronicle his life. But I can only assume he's not going to move off this angle at all.
He had been revealed. Eventually Chronicle had to, but the shot's not hit. Yumpy even tagged up 56, Kiko on 25. Durka's advanced position. Now there's someone there for him. Quick kill on Enzo, and he is out of here. Getting out of dodge for free. Viper's Pit aggressive. Enzo on the res. And Viper's Pit abandoned.
Yeah, I think it was almost sold as a ruse. Just try and hold some ground for a second. Angle held, but it's still won by Yumpy. That's a huge kill. It leaves Chronicle there. I don't know if he's going to try and use the res. It would definitely be a risk, and they've left Nats behind in middle. Snake in the grass, the rat in the backlines. Nice shot for one, but there he is. Pounces at the final second to give them that afterplant. You can see Enzo's trying to make sure nobody can get in to deny it. A 3-man flank would definitely be a surprise, though.
Yeah, I mean, Boaster already walked into the trap. They know one is behind, but that's the extent of your information. But look at the position of Nats. He's cleared it out. He's calling to the troops. There's no one in the spawn. They have to be somewhere else. And, well, Alpha, he might get the element of surprise, but he was spotted. Kiko dropped. 1 versus 2. There's no way he's going to give this one up. Not a 10-8. The angle held by Yumpy, though, is too strong. A pixel that reveals Alpha and gives Team Liquid another lease of life. 1 round behind Fnatic. It's not over yet, but that's only 2 in a row, Tom. A lot more to be connected by this attacking side.
Yeah, huge back and forth. And again, I feel like it's the impact of Yumpy and Nats. Taking that initial control, getting Nats into a position that he could play from, even using a Viper's Pit almost as bait so that he can hold on to some of that ground. And then just, it comes down almost to 1 fight. That fight, Durka and Yumpy. If Durka survives, I think they almost run out of time trying to clear him out of the site. But Yumpy hasn't been missing those shots.
In a long time since I've seen the fragmentation on the slow orb. There it is again. Throwback to the days of Alpha. For Chronicle, it's going to be joining up with some of his teammates who've gone for a bit of a mosey around middle. Fnatic with a lot of control there, spotting well, nobody. That's the real downside.
They're pinging the B side because they've heard so much on the other side. They've already heard like the dart go through. They've also used the drone. This is a pretty over-the-top fake. It leaves Durka completely alone on the A side of the map, up above, watching. It's something that almost has to be checked for, but they've already bypassed the initial angle. Mystic is not going to go for the peak, almost just baits in his opponent for Nats to take that fight. Now Fnatic are nowhere near the action.
But they have managed to isolate a player. Enzo's caught in the cross back. Alpha's position is not good enough. Beautiful shot onto the head of Alpha Yer, but Mystic tagged up. They try to push forward to capitalize, but Yumpy's there, waiting, taking the kill, dropping one, and Kiko's flank comes through at just the right moment. 4v1 on the back of it. 66 HP for Durka. He can be a demon, but not up against Liquid. The successful streak of Fnatic comes to a halt as Liquid now equalize things with 3 rounds in a row. The game really isn't over yet. And the problem for Fnatic is they've invested a lot of credits into these last few rounds. Now, their balance is running a little bit dry.
Ults as well. Rez used, Hunter's Fury used as well. So these have been costly rounds in more ways than one. And a lot of this has just come down to some fantastic rounds.
Still going to be a difficult round for Liquid. No reward found off rip. They might have damaged the economy, but it's still healthy enough to give them a fighting chance on the side of Fnatic.
We're immediately going to go walkabouts. He's someone who can be a hero in a lot of these rounds. The drone will already push Durka back off the angle. It hasn't stopped them with the push-up. This can be a lot of information either way. Potentially just going to leave Alpha behind and try and stack up the defense to help out a little bit. What is that? And Durka just through the edge has managed to find himself 2 kills immediately.
I mean, I'm going to need to see that in a replay. That was quick as can be. And he's still roaming around, knives in hand. He might be 1 down, but 4 still to go, looking for the refresh. First shot doesn't land. Cloudburst deep allows the swing up close. Damage done. And here comes the Stinger. What a bite it will have up against 50 HP. Mystic tries to create some space. Get back that little bit further, but Yampi, oh, he's going to be in trouble. If this wall does get broken open, that's another angle for him to consider. Considers it well and even lands the headhunter. 1 versus 2. Spike to be planted. He needs to choose his position carefully. Look at Alpha here. The flank is coming in, and he has no idea. Spike planted, round ended. Fnatic had him covered. All the boxes ticked. 11 rounds now on the board, and Durka smiling. We've yet to see just what that looked like from his perspective, but I don't expect it to be reasonable. Look at this. Oh, stop it! Stop it! The second one, he was already back through the wall!
Well, we talk about Fnatic pauses. As said, I'm not sure the coach said anything about that.
Oh, yeah, no. I saw Alma and Mini. Yeah. But peek up close. They'll push you off the angle. Go back. Wait till they push. Once alarm bot goes, swing in, headshot 2. I mean, it's a simple strategy, a common one. Everyone should run it, Tom. Maybe they might need these players, though.
Yeah, I can think of 1 or 2 that might also fit the bill, but Durka and Icebox has always been a pleasure. And now he's going to buy himself up that operator as well. Still, Liquid with 3 rounds, relatively clean ones. They're still going to be able to get a purchase onto the board. Have themselves that operator, and it is an early fight towards the A site. Orb tapped. Just going to have to fall back off the angle. Ultimate's firmly in Fnatic's favor. Lockdown for Alpha. Viper's Pit for Boaster. You can lock down one side and put the lockdown on the other.
Poetic. It's good to see Alpha's gun still glowing as well. Lights out map from him. Still involved in this engagement with the lockdown, as you said. And Team Liquid will step their way forward. It'll take a moment before they're able to actually bait this ulti out. And with the wall going down, that's where I expect Alpha to start making his way in, but they'll delay it. He wants the support of the whole squad. It's a wise play. The aggression has been there from Liquid again and again. Kiko, he's not going to stick around after that reveal. Surely gone running, hoping to open up space for Nats to make it through on the lurk. Has to be careful, because all the while Alpha's turret is watching for that aggression. Now Alpha's turret down. This opens up the door for Nats to quicken his pace, to make it through this window, to catch an angle. He's doing damage, dropping Durka, and the push from Mystic at the exact same time. It's gorgeous. And, well, Kiko might not be in the best of positions.
There's 2 detained players. Boaster hasn't seen any of them.
I mean, look, he's probably not winning the round.
There we go.
Even if he dropped both, I think he would have just stuck around to get deleted. And even that first kill ends up being enough to allow Team Liquid to close in on him, catch up, and get hot on his heels. We're at 11 to 11, Tom.
Though.
This is it.
This is exactly what I wanted to see from them with this composition. Like I'd said many a times, Mystic hasn't been on the agents that necessarily allow for disruption. The guy's just a maniac. Like sometimes he just does things that are utterly insane. The angle, it's just disgusting. And then just the aggressive swing from Mystic was absolutely everything. But this is what I want to see from Liquid. Rounds where they're all on the same page. What is the plan? We're pushing this. We're taking these fights. Yumpy initially, Kiko after, Nats from behind, Mystic up front. It couldn't have gone any better if they tried. And now Fnatic are on the back foot again. Weaponry, definitely not ideal for this sort of round. But as we've seen so many times before, sometimes that doesn't matter at all.
This would be a hell of a round for that Viper's Pit to come out from Boaster. They need their way back through, but it doesn't look like a retake is on the cards. 4 players on the A side, ready and waiting to go. Flash up and over. Kiko's caught one, good angle. Remember, most of these players have weaker weapons. That was only a pistol he dropped, I believe. There's a rifle on the floor. 2 more Bulldogs and a Frenzy. The Frenzy up close, catching Yumpy completely unaware. Even still, how much more can you expect from Boaster? Nothing, realistically. Even needs to reload. That Frenzy dropped on from behind. Actually isolates another kill. You got to applaud him for being the only person to do damage despite having the weakest weapon. But nonetheless, regulation win no longer possible for Fnatic. Elimination now a thought they can push to the back of their mind for Team Liquid. One more round, and they'll bring us to a third. Bring us all the way to Lotus to fight for tournament life against Fnatic.
This is the parallel from the last one. One team hits. Let's see if they can do it in round number 24 as well.
Oh, this is it. Those barriers are going up one more time in regulation. Fnatic have a big test on their hands. Can they lock in an overtime, or they're locking in a much longer day? Viper's Pit activated, not to be left on the sidebar. Used on A, but there's not a lot of presence from Liquid there. Yumpy up close. He's got one hit shot onto every one of these Fnatic players. Everyone has light shields, but one shot back is all that was needed. Chronicle with the headshot, delivering death to the Outlaw. And Team Liquid now lose one of their main ways to open up these sites, to take those aggressive fights. They won't be happy with that.
They're going to fight to bring him back.
That's why the res is coming in.
Yeah, it's just Althea's position definitely makes me nervous. Up from above,
Broke
that
the wall.
has not gone great. That is a freebie kill, and more importantly, Mystic's gone down at the same time. It was a risk taken to get Yumpy back in, and it is a risk they may pay for.
The wall was too shallow. Someone has to recover this now. No res is online. Nobody brought back from the dead. Instead, they've got to eliminate some Fnatic players. That's is beautiful. Able to slip under the site, but there's still one player, and he doesn't know about Durka. Doesn't know where he's gone. Ring a Rosie once again, but this time it's Durka that gets ahead of it. Catching Nats, shutting down the option to plant. Now you rely on Kiko, catching them off guard. Catches Leo with an arrow in hand, can't make it out past the turret. Time delayed, 14 seconds, time for a plant. Enzo sneaks through at just the right moment, and a plant can now be secured. They've got the site control, and with Kiko still looking for more damage, it was looking doable. Enzo even has a Hunter's Fury, but the chances to use it are going to be limited. Both players spotted the information there to play with at least. The lock-in of map 3, he just has to find Boaster and Alpha. Yeah, but the first shuts him down. The IGL of Fnatic keeps this map going a little bit longer. 12-12, and overtime is on our hands.
It's an unfortunate truth for Liquid that it seems like their own attempt to bring back Yumpy from the fray was their undoing. That was the problem. They still fought back in the 2 versus 4 scenario, but it wasn't quite enough. And now heading into overtime, everything's even, everything's square. The problem, though, is they don't have that economic advantage anymore. We were talking about them bringing in the Operator. Last round, they brought in the Outlaw just because of those low shields, the good read on the finances of Fnatic. And as we say again, a pause is called, and a pause one, or round one straight after for Fnatic. They are very good from those scenarios. Can Liquid turn it back again?
The op on Yumpy, off rip. It's had its moments, although Fnatic have done well to shut down this position, this play, and very same weapon in the past. Nats is the one up close, giving away his position, destroying the drone, and hoping that Yumpy can catch them off guard as a result. Doesn't look like that's happening. No, Fnatic, they're aware of this play. They've ran into it a couple times.
I'm more looking at this. Just look how far back Alpha currently is. It's because of what's been done to them so many times. Kiko is in their head, and he is not yet pushing. He is still sat all the way back, but the rest of the team are looking to build up in that direction. Alpha's only goal is to deny these flanks. Fnatic have been so successful at getting openers, getting into afterplants, and they're even waiting for Yumpy, it seems, and he's not going to manage to hit the shot this time. Force back further passive.
Trapped behind yellow as well. with the wall up. You might actually see Nats completely locked out if Boaster puts that through. They haven't managed to root him out of this position or even spot him, I believe. The element of surprise certainly there. The shoulder not fired on by Yumpy. He's patient and he gets his reward. Now wrapped on, sprayed at, and Enzo returning fire picks up one. The flank eventually comes in and Alpha's able to drop two. But Yumpy is still in position. They can't afford to give any more players to that operator. The rotation is called, and Fnatic make their way towards the A site. But look at Team Liquid. They're miles ahead of them, already wrapping into this position. The only question is if the flank from Alpha can find the value that we can see. It's just about to. What a shot on the nets! Great correction, but Enzo can drop this spike on the way through. He has to take the kill. No way that they managed to plant this all the way, and there it is. A shock dart to grab the triple kill and close out the round. 13-12. What a chaotic close to this one.
Yeah, the fact is Alpha did his job and some. He catches the players flanking, but Fnatic just didn't get into the site. The Turkish superstar did everything they could have needed of him, but it's Yumpy. I don't know how he survives this long. And then right in the last seconds of the round, you have Enzo just making that realization. If I can even slow them just a little bit, if I can deny that extra space, the round is over. And that's exactly what he does. Close. Mental toll. Fnatic have to go to a third. As I said, they've already lost Lotus more times this year than they did the entirety of last year. And no, that's not because the map wasn't in the pool. Again, they're going to attempt some aggression. A lurk from Nats is something they'll have to be wary of always. But the more obvious danger... Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Zilf is that man right there. Alfia in mid. He has been so damn problematic for them in every single round. To say he deserves the victory is definitely true, but there have been many players on Liquid that are fighting tooth and nail. Look at this position, almost an opener already for Durka.
Might be the opener for Alpha. Looked like Yumpy was ready for it. Oh, there's a little gap in that wall. I don't think they've noticed. Oh, now they have. Boaster was in a little bit of danger if he went out wider. Flank around by Nats being watched. Boaster ready for it, you would think, but Nats is that little better this time. A double kill from him. Kiko grabbing one up behind A and the triple to close it. 14-12. They won't let go of this lead as...
This year, Fnatic have gone to overtime 60% of the time when they play this map. 3 out of 5 and 1 out of 3 for Liquid as well. I think we could be in for the long haul. The only thing stopping us is if either of these teams run out of steam. Because they have been playing for a while now. It's been a long game. And look at the position already. It's nasty from Durka. Kiko's got the entry, but he doesn't even know there's a man lurking behind. It's going to be 3 for Durka. A huge way to start this off, but already this pistol round is over.
All thanks to that man's sneaky little position in a box I'm sure Liquid are going to be checking from this moment forward.
We're going to be wallbanging it every round.
Every time. Get that Odin back out. For Fnatic, hey, confidence building round right off rip. Look at this. The fact that he gets the third here. An insane correction with everybody else swinging to take him down. And they just can't make it out onto the site afterwards. 10 seconds till barriers go up, and a round 2, and I just want to wait till a few more seconds pass. He is actually genuinely buying a round 2 Odin. Durka, I love you, man. What? Oh, and he's doing damage with it too. He's the best of the best, Tom.
Wow, he did like 44 damage to a player with no shields in a classic.
That's a respectable amount of damage.
Oh my god, he did 44 damage in an eco round.
Would they have gotten that kill without the wallbang? Who knows? Who knows? It's all the mental games.
Guy.
I know it sent them back towards the B side. You're not going to go A with a round 2 Odins. You go B, you get hit. You know, this is what it's all about.
Right. We're moving swiftly on. Oh my god, is he good? Oh, look at that! He got a kill with a ghost! It's unbelievable!
That's normal play for a ghost. You know, if it was an Odin, that would be impressive. But he, you know, no risks taken, no reward found, in my opinion. For Enzo Mystic.
It might be play of the tournament, honestly. It's so impressive.
It could be off-rip round 2. I'll say if Fnatic dominate this map, that could be the reason why, Tom. The round 2 Odin from Durka.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and unequivocally disagree. For now, though, Any damage would be nice. Mystic. In a solid position.
30 seconds left.
He's about to get an IGL battle. He's read it perfectly. Timing is going to be everything. And there you go. A huge upgrade. Oh, actually, Mystic's done quite well. Making this round costly indeed. Durka now low, which is not what you want when you've got the Odin in hand. And the thing is, okay, they had 2 pistols. Right now, it's not too costly. They lose any more players, and that really is a problem.
Oh, well, here's a chance to do what Durka did, but spotted out, wall banged up, and it's the Odin. Who would have known?
Wow.
Otherwise, they would have had to swing into the angle, Tom, and they might have all went down. You saw what Durka did. You can't deny it. So, beautiful buy from Fnatic, and a second round secured.
This is now where we need to see a response from Liquid. But that's the thing, though. All jokes aside, having this extra weaponry, the 3 rifles kept into this round, diffuse as well for Durka means that he has his showstopper. Now, I will be honest, I kind of hope he gives the Odin to someone else while he's got a showstopper in hand. It seems like a bit of a weird combination.
Backup. It's a backup weapon.
The Odin.
What? No. What are you going to do with that flying through the air? Oh, I mean, I'm surprised. I am actually genuinely surprised that he keeps it. Often you're going to see a Viper in these positions, although the Seaside support alongside a Killjoy I'm a big fan of. But then you look at someone like Boaster, someone who famously goes for those wall bangs a lot. But Durka, he's jealous. He wants a shot with the big gun. I don't blame him. No opportunities, no targets.
Oh, okay. He's giving out. There we go. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Just went for the early damage. Now has put Boaster in play, solo. And that's the thing. They're claiming this control early towards Rubble. It's been fought for on the other side of the map, but I can only assume we're going to see that rotation back in the other direction. Now, the drone is going to be such a pivotal piece of utility here. Because on the other side, you've got the Prowlers. You can clear those close angles. You can use the Haunt. The drone, though, is going to be sent in immediately. And will actually force Boaster all the way back. Can't afford to hold onto this ground any longer, but it is a Ruzmich. They're going towards C.
Oh, they're going fast, but Durka spotted that. Showstopper used to catch one. Chronicle trying to fall back, delay, and the Snakebite will do exactly that. There's no way through for this attacking side. Damage has been done to Nats as well. They have to rely on another site, on the A site, moving towards Boaster as he sits down inside a tree. Odin in hand. It's a tough position without teammates covering your cross. At this point, he's hoping that they walk up and he can catch them, but he knows the door will be open as steps come ever closer. Now playing behind the smoke instead. Remember, the benefit of this weapon is that you can spam. The downside is those bullets are very, very clearly visible. Leo does well, dropping the one, delaying further, and even getting Enzo. There's no way now. With Nats on 20 HP, both players to find 8 seconds to do it. Looks like saving the weapon is the only remaining call to be made, and Team Liquid make that call.
Yeah, this is not the start that they were looking for. I think they're definitely going to have to start battling for some of that early control, but the read from Fnatic in this round was sublime. Like they had that early position. Boaster may not have got a kill, but he held them for a ridiculously long time, and then you just have this 3-man defense of C. With the amount of damage that was done, they almost had to fall back. And by that point, rotation already in for Leo. He's had a great series overall. Yeah. Now a 3-0 start. Now again, we've seen this a couple of times. It's going to be the hero rifle, Mitch, for Nats.
There.
Can he do it once more?
Same old spams coming through, Tom, but Durka, I mean, he's got something else. I've seen Boaster in a few of these and never really able to do the damage. Sometimes it's just unlucky they don't go your way, but every time they've stepped up to Durka, they're being lit up. This guy's walls must be partially see-through. I don't know how he's predicted that. Enzo and Kiko both extremely low. On a buy round, this would be damning. And this, the pistols will still spur themselves forward, taking control of B and potentially even getting a plant.
I wonder if it's just the value of supportive utility. Like Boaster can place the smokes, use the paranoia.
Spike planted.
And then Durka could just hold mouse 1, spam. For now though, it has ended in an afterplant. The only real threat still is gonna be Nats. They're trying to pave for him. Through the corner he goes, but here goes Nats. Paranoia will force him all the way back, but he's able to hold onto the ground for a second. It's the spam from Boaster, and the rest of the players fall like dominoes. Only a single player dropped. They're even going to buy the extra time to go and retrieve that Odin, I'm sure. Fnatic now 4-0 up on this defensive side. We've seen comebacks, we've seen streaks, but Liquid might want to stop this a little bit earlier before it gets too dangerous.
Man, I don't know what kind of time Dirk has been putting into these wall banks, but they're working out. And it's really difficult for Team Liquid because early approach, you're getting spammed down. You're being denied control. Not just that, but as you said, Tom, and I was doing some thinking on this, Durka having that Odin in, the players that are actually, you know, stood around looking for fights, ready to react, are the ones with that utility, are the ones that can slow down the way you typically deal with this Odin, which is by quickly moving in, taking the control.
And if they open the door, he can nade it.
Exactly. So there's so much that he can do from that position to deny this control. And you can see it sent Team Liquid running straight towards this C site. Hunter's Fury activated and mostly just team damage coming through. Not a lot connected.
Yep, it's done a little bit onto Kiko, but that's about it. And, well, it seems that Liquid were desperately hoping for an opener. The aggression that we've seen from Fnatic has mostly been around wallbangs or just taking rubble control, which they'll know they don't have because of the cam that's aggressively placed. And then just getting information and gamble rotating. So they wanted to try and pick someone off to cause some havoc on the Fnatic side. Well, at least from our perspective right now, it just looks like they've wasted an ult.
At the same time, though, slowing the play has left Alphier alone. Not a position he can stick around for too much in, but he'll take his one shot and get out. That's Kiko falling on the other side. Team Liquid, sure, they can secure themselves a post plant. Fnatic are happy to give that away. Playing instead for the numbers retake, looking for any further aggression from this Liquid side, and having denied them with that aggressive control, they're now ready to go blitzing in. Durka swaps out the Odin as well. You can expect those two blast packs to be used as he makes his way through. Nade still in back pocket, being lined up now with a seize from Leo. The Snade in, no targets dropped, and Yumpy even finds space in the midst of it all, but he spammed down. Great reveal from Leo. Up top though, Mystic able to get so much done, but he can't get out on time. Even then he would have been down below, and an easy trade for the side of Fnatic, not needed. As 5-0 is now locked in, Fnatic are running away with this.
Yeah, the start from them has been fantastic. It's a map that last year was nigh on flawless. They only lost it to Loud, and that's it, twice. And it never happened again. No one within EMEA was able to take them down. In fact, a lot of teams resorted to banning it. This year, it's been a different story. Losses to Foot, Heretics, Carmine Corps, the new era of VCT EMEA. For Liquid, okay, they had victories versus Na'Vi.
You can't wish for a much better, right, lads? Hold on. Whoa, let's just pump the, all right, Elma, call a pause. Call a pause before this gets out. They've got two Odins.
Two Odins and an operator.
What in the world?
This has to be some of the worst retake weaponry we've ever seen.
Or best. It depends. Hey, those retakes on B.
I don't think it does. I think it sucks.
You get tree control on A, then you spam through.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
No more theory crafting.
But for actually getting into position, it's going to be really difficult. Boaster, such an aggressive spot. He's going for some spams already. They're going to try and kill him off with that showstopper, but he's already escaped. Just going to get the space instead. And actually, Chronicle has been caught. He'll go down at least, trying to be a little bit cheeky around the angles. The worry for them already is that's one of the rifles. They've only got one left.
They've got two big guns to replace it though, Tom, so I wouldn't be worried. Make that one with Boaster going down. Operator on Durka can be the second for us this time, but he didn't see Mystic sitting up on top of the box. He's been a menace with those shrouded steps, and they have sometimes been shrouded. What is that? I just dropped that point entirely. Alpha didn't even bother scoping in. But look, what more can you do from this point? We talked about the wall bang ability of this site, and it most certainly is there, but you have to root these players out of their positions, which does not seem doable. The spam finding next to nothing, bit of damage, Kiko low, but that's where it stops. Team Liquid finally put a round on the board, and I will say an ambitious buy from Fnatic that doesn't get rewarded this time.
Yeah, I think it's just, like, firstly having that showstopper. Like, all of the space that you were hoping to hold on to and spam just gets removed almost immediately. And then everything else, you're almost playing from a retake scenario, which is just where all of those guns suck. Like, you're needing people to watch your back, and every single one of them was an isolated fight. Good work from Liquid, got themselves onto the board. I'm still looking at Mystic having a judge in this round. I don't know what he has planned, but I am intrigued.
Okay. The TP.
He's really lazy. He didn't want to walk that far.
It is fair. It was about 3 steps backwards, so understandable. But obviously now they're worried about potentially being behind, and Kiko's gone running in. Not the usual reaction to a Nightfall coming into play. He has become the nightmare, very much so. What is this guy doing? He is playing Omen like, I will say this confidently, like I've never seen before. Not rewarded this time. In fact, it draws them into a fight that, okay, all according to plan. Durka wallbangs Nats, but Nats grabbed the kills, kept it equal. Team Liquid have a plant to now be found with a post-plant Odin for Enzo.
Spike planted.
Careful.
Oh, it's such a big swing! They're playing with such unbelievable confidence, and now it's left onto Durka with an Odin. That's not a sentence I ever thought I'd be saying in a retake scenario. He's going to find that first kill, though. Odin versus Odin, but he's got a showstopper to boot. Trying to work out where this player is going to be fighting from. Enzo's going to reveal it with the drone. Gives away exactly where his opponent is. The nade already being thrown in. That showstopper is still available, but I think he's a little bit more wary about popping it and going down, and instead, Durka's going to take that fight. A 1v2 retake for Durka with an Odin. Write that one down.
Yeah, I think that might be a first, Tom. I'm not going to say I'm certain, but I don't think I've seen this man use that gun
Sorry,
very
my
much.
mistake. A Rebel clutch with an Odin by Durka.
There we go.
I'm going to make sure that was clear.
It's corrected. There's your little prompter just to remember. Unreal. I mean, we start out with chaos.
Look, can you get me Alpha? Please say we have Alpha's face. I saw Alpha's cam after he died, and I've never seen him look more confused.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that wall is wall bangable. It's one of the stronger positions for those rotates back through. If you're like the planting, like normally you'd see you plant B and then someone's there wall banging. Sure, that makes sense. Not usually the opposite way around. Catching the attackers. Okay, that's a lot of reveals, but some of these angles are a little too much for the wall bang to go through on. Dirk is going to have to go for the reload, and they're spamming right back. But the thing is...
He's definitely done more damage.
Yes. Oh, so much more. And on the side of Fnatic, they're waiting for the push to come through, because once these players actually get aggressive, then you have the reaction from Chronicle, from Leo, to burst through this open door. This door that might even have been opened by their own Odin spraying through. And that's the swing we're talking about. Little double kill for Chronicle, and now they're worried about Leo. Running out of ammo, the nade's going to be used, and Kiko has to try the reload. At least you'd imagine showstopper used, and it's right on Kiko's feet.
Well, it would have to be a clutch for the ages, and it isn't going to be. 7-1. Fnatic truly running away with it. Leo as well, that turnaround at the last second to catch Nats lurking through behind him. But the fact is it's only been a blip on the radar so far. Chronicle up to his usual tricks. And this was the moment. I thought he was dead to Rice. You see that nade come in and you go, okay, you're probably focusing in front of you, not Leo. So aware of his surroundings.
I didn't see the little graphic pop up, but either way, a lot to be discussed on the side of Team Liquid. And, you know, these are not setups that I think they've ran into all too often. If you came into the game today expecting Durka to be playing the way he is, you're insane. Even I would say that. But my goodness, if you came in to today and you dislike the way Durka's playing, you're insane also. Because it's beautiful. It's working out. 7-1. The push in from Team Liquid, okay, they've avoided a lot of the utility. Good shock dart to break the traps. They get onto the site. Spike still hasn't crossed. That's going to be a big trouble for them. If they try to break out into the site, there can be a fight from all angles. Enzo picks up the first. That was just on the walk through the gap. Leo's trapped in a corner. But Alpha, ever reliable in these positions. When you need him most, he shows up again and again. Same thing can be said for Fnatic in elimination games, and you're getting to see that on this last map. It looks like a 7-round lead, short of an incredible play out of Kiko, a Sheriff, and a 1v3.
Okay.
1v2.
He's going to get the showstopper and the nade back online. So he has the utility to play with. Unfortunately, there is no opportunity for him to grab a weapon. So he's going to have to isolate one of these duels. Already, Boaster is going to start rotating back. There is actually a very good chance that he finds himself in a 1v1. It's just whether he expects it so soon. And now Kiko's so low, that showstopper's value has been diminished significantly. A single bullet could take him out of the round. Even a spam could do it. It's close, but he's still standing at least for now.
Yeah, but how much can you expect from him? 2 quick headshots, maybe that was the chance. Who knows if he even gets to fire another shot. The drop down and the quick response from Boaster means that he won't. 8 rounds now secured for Fnatic, a defensive side lead that will be hard to break. And as we said, coming into this series, if I imagine Liquid getting off to a great start with a huge lead, I can see Fnatic fighting back. I have seen Fnatic fight back. But when you see Liquid go down by this much, that's where I start to question if this team has it in them to make that comeback. Not just in general, but against this squad in particular.
Their record somewhat speaks for itself. They did manage a comeback of sorts, as said, versus GX, but they ultimately lost. They managed a pretty decent comeback in the last map from a deficit of rounds, which could have sent them packing. Even that went to overtime. But there has been nothing of this level. But we have seen them beat the odds already. 3% to get to the playoffs in the first place. I'd say their odds are slightly higher. Kiko leading the charge, but already locked down in play, and they have not spotted out Chronicle. He is still just standing into the ground. That is absurd. Every single kill put in front of him is dropped to, well, they know where Enzo is. He's just decided to use himself a drone. They take a pause, and guess what? Fnatic get an Andalusia flawless.
Yeah, the Fnatic pause. We saw it. We saw the effect it can have all season, in fact, all year, 2 years. But Team Liquid's this time backfires. It gives Fnatic a moment to talk, and well, I don't think any of that talk even mattered. Chronicle on the backside, able to completely dismantle the push, catch a player up top, and the rest of the squad, no drone, no entry, utility instead. They're walking through a poison orb. Viper's got nerfed for a reason, right? You don't want to challenge straight through that utility, and I think they just found that out the hard way on Team Liquid. 9-1. The defensive side is showing zero signs of slowing down.
It's also just, you throw in a showstopper, you don't really expect the player to just still be sat at the back of the site. It's almost the disrespect the Fnatic is beginning, or more so continuing, to show this Liquid side. We've got an ult or two to play with in this one, but again, it's a similar road. Leo has been consistently garnering information and denying them space. A decent fight, though, and this time Kiko gets both openers.
There might be a return from a blinded up Leo, at least blocked off by the smoke. How much more can be expected? Mystic's TPs have been dangerous, and he comes out just as the door is closing, but they're ready, they're watching it. Still dealing with him seems to be a different thing entirely. Leo eventually gets there. 2 versus 3. Viper's pit online. Chronicle's position is beautiful. The drone at the wrong time again. Enzo's caught, and the numbers now favor the defenders. They're on their way to start this defuse, and there's no utility to be put in by Liquid. The Viper's pit now active, and that's going to give them the cover they need to stick this. At least that's the thought from Liquid. Kiko needs to be quick to check that they're not defusing it all the way. A tap again, draws Yumpy into the open, and Leo puts him in his grave. Double digits for Fnatic. 1 for Team Liquid. This couldn't be going anywhere. I suppose it could be going worse. It could be 11-0, but I'm not sure that the margin is that much thicker.
That's the thing, though. It's these advantages that have just been let slip. The first picked up by Kiko later in the round as well, but the Nightfall couldn't have been better. It allowed as well for the drop down. That's the thing. Nobody heard the drop from Chronicle, so he's able to get into a position. The drone, yeah, I'll be honest, is questionable.
When you're
not having anything, not having any possible cover, it's such a massive risk. And then the clutch, every clutch has been played perfectly in this map from Fnatic. It was mentioned on the desk that that was something that Liquid desperately needed. So far, they've had nothing.
Oh, Kiko, this is a great play. I mean, that is as ambitious as they come. Straight into B after one player spotted, and you assume that's the only one. Well, Fnatic have got you there. Hook, line, and sinker. TP into spawn, spotted, no chance to commit it. The Team Liquid are stuck outside of a site that they have no access to. I don't know where they're going to take it, but I think I know the result no matter what. Okay. Durka is dropped, but look at the damage in return. It's still a very difficult round to find any legs to stand on in.
Yeah, and well, Fnatic even just sat spread across the map. They don't really need to re-aggro or try and take any fights. Leo just can't do anything wrong. 15-3 from the Swedish superstar. But that's the thing. we've seen different individuals. The last map, Alpha was unstoppable. The first map, Leo was the king. This map, they've got absolutely everybody online. There hasn't been a piece missing to the Fnatic puzzle, and Liquid have tried hyper-aggression, slow-paced rounds. They've even got into post-plants. It doesn't seem to matter. Well, the TP actually puts Boaster. He's gone right back to where he was before. Paranoia still held right until the late round. Nice shot from Mystic at least, but he's going to need 1 or 2 more of those. Let's at least spot out Boaster. If they can isolate him, maybe they have a chance.
Oh, they have done just that, but look at the HP, Tom. A swift breeze will knock them down at this point. In the last round, there's no need to take risks. They'll stick this one together. A turret put down that could have eliminated Enzo. Just half a second more. The spike tapped Enzo's steps should be enough at this point with the off angle for Chronicle. A wild spray through the smoke will do all that it needs to. 11 rounds for Fnatic, 1 for Team Liquid. This was looking close. Hell, we could have seen it. Go to Team Liquid 2-0. That first map 13-11 with a massive comeback from Fnatic. The second, an overtime that Liquid barely managed to clinch out. And in the end, it comes down to what seems to be an even turf. If anything, coming in, looking at the last couple of games, you might almost favor Liquid on this map. Certainly win rate-wise, they've been looking good. This isn't the way I expected the last map to go after what we saw in the first 2 maps, I have to be honest, Tom.
No. It was a gamble at every stretch last year to go anywhere near this map versus Fnatic. Throughout this season, that's not been the case. Foot beat them. Heretics beat them. KC beat them. I don't think Liquid are going to be doing it, though. 11-1 down. They would have to have one of the most mammoth comebacks we've ever seen. I can't say I'm a believer. Fnatic have come to form at maybe the perfect moment. The stars have aligned at the time they needed the most. And Liquid find themselves just 2 rounds away from being eliminated after all.
They fought for their lives, for survival in the group stages. Now they find themselves doing that yet again.
All right.
Team Liquid off to a good start in this pistol with a quick double. It does little to alleviate the stress of the lead they've given to Fnatic, the near flawless half they need.
I still feel nervous, though. That's what this game has done to me. Like, every single time I see Liquid in an advantage, there's someone there on the other side.
Dirk is dead. Dirk is dead. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, Leo, Alpha, and Boaster are not.
Leo's facing into his 4th death so far, maybe 5th. If he goes down here, good stun by Yampi. Slows them slightly, but the door takes so long to open. He's still going to be in position, able to catch a headshot, but not the kill. Leo down to 20.
Left.
Would be his 5th death of the game so far.
Oh, it's not going to be the connected shots, and Enzo should have secured this round. 20 seconds left for Boaster. He's actually just going to claim the orb. Almost manages to take out Mystic, but it's a big round for him. A second one, doubling the scoreline of Liquid. And if there was ever going to be a comeback, they needed that round.
They did, Tom, and everyone that precedes it. It is going to be a...
They could lose one.
Oh yeah, they can, Tom.
They could lose one.
Lose one for the OT. I mean, for the 13-11, what a dream it would be. But for now, it stays there. Something we could think about when we close our eyes. When your eyes are open, it's a different story. Somewhat of a nightmare to live through as a Liquid fan. Tournament survival based on the thinnest of margins for error.
But the thing as well is you almost have to look away from Liquid and look at Fnatic and say, do I really believe they're not going to be able to scrape through 2 rounds? Even if it's in the most BS of fashion. The fact is, though, they've had that. An easy start, though. Dirk gone again. No Odin for him just yet, and I'll be honest, the expectation isn't really there for him to have it at all. Still got to be careful, though. Alfia's invested into a Ghost, and even that seems like it could be devastating. A couple of players already tagged quite low. Mystic, though, still looking like he's come to play in this second half.
Nice kill for Kiko. Of course, easy when you've got the Outlaw up against no shields or light shields. One shot to the body, and he lands that one cleanly. And the double stack on top of the boxes earlier. Mystic did well to find his first, and here he grabs the remaining two. And Andalucia flawless for the side of Team Liquid. But this was round number 2. This was where Fnatic came in with nothing. Now they buy everything, and they will bring to bear the full might of their attacking side. No way that Liquid can lose this one, can give it up. It would be 12-3, and at that point, I 100% agree. You just save your ults, dump them all into one round, and what can you do on the receiving end?
I don't even know if they'll need that.
You've
You've got Leo, Chronicle, Durka, and Alpha all up there at the top. And that's the thing. That's the miracle scenario for Fnatic. That's all they've ever needed. An early setup in an attempt to try and deny that rubble control. And an early rotation back towards this B site. That's where the early steps, the early sounds have been made by Fnatic, but we know that they're a team that absolutely loves to play with the rotations when it comes to this map.
Well, Team Liquid know that too. They don't want to give them the opportunity fighting into these angles where they'd seen players just moments ago. There was contact on A starting the round, they backed off. Contact on B, and even Nat spotting one on C. They know at this point that it was a default, the 3-man push, a great response in a low buy round. Now the advantage is in their court, but in terms of weaponry, there's still a lot to be made up for. Fnatic know that. They've grouped up as 3, look towards A main for an opening duel for a ranged angle, but nothing being offered up. Liquid have 40 seconds on the clock to stop Fnatic from stepping forward. The wall bangs start to drain some of this ammo. There haven't been a lot, or any really thrown through so far, so Enzo still has the 130 bullets to play with. Don't think he'll get a chance to use all of them. The sights are set on A, and Enzo and Kiko need to hold strong.
Already?
All right.
The Ares has managed to start things off well. He's going to have to pull off something we may never have seen before, with the Ares doing so much work. Leo, though, still finds a trade, but the advantage is firmly stuck with Liquid, and Enzo is still standing. Nat's there to support him, and at this stage, Chronicle just has to hope to try and hold on to the gun. We'll be able to take one with him, but getting away is not going to be easy. In fact, the players of Liquid are chasing, running after him, but he will be able to escape. It's another tick in the box for Liquid, but the first of many.
All right, okay. I got to put my hands up there, Tom. My bad. I disrespect the Ares quite a lot. I usually don't see it do a damn thing, so I feel like I'm pretty justified in doing that, but maybe I just don't know how to use it. My guy's slowing them down in the full buy, catching those little angles. Well, there was no need for that. Slowing them down on the way through. I mean, it's not a strong weapon, I'll say that.
Yeah, still criticize. I have to hold my hands up to now criticize it further.
Just a little bit. Just saying it's not a strong weapon. If anything needs a buff, I think the Ares does, but maybe not in Enzo's hands. Good start. And now the push up with the Odin alongside Kiko. This is a very dangerous play. Not with Kiko. Popping heads. Oh my goodness. I thought, numbers advantage. Even with the weaker weapons, you can get something done. And they caught him. 2 or 3 players swinging on him in the open, but he hits every single shot. That was like it was an aim trial.
And another Andalucia flawless for Liquid. They're keeping these rounds squeaky clean, making sure that their ultimates build up, making sure the credits are never going to be running dry. It's still going to be a long time before I believe in the comeback, but at least the way they're playing this defensive side is with mass confidence. Because the fact is, if you give that space up, if you allow Fnatic to have control of Rebel, have control of Mount, you've already lost. The game is over. And they're going to continue to fight this throughout the game, already taking that control early. Fnatic, though, maybe having some other ideas.
My wire.
Going to be destroying some of the utility towards that B site.
There.
But look how far already Kiko has got. He is right up close.
I must wait a moment.
He can now pull rotations in the other direction.
That's the important thing. If he fell back, this would be a great position for Fnatic to play from because they know they've got that information. But now the pressure's on a little bit. That flank could be coming through, and Kiko was a big menace when it came to flank plays on Icebox. So someone has to be watching it. The turret is left behind to do just that, but they want to focus forward. A lot of space taken on the back of the Nightfall. Durka able to get onto site. Hunter's Fury put through is causing a bit of a headache. Not too much damage, not really dealt. It just staggered the push, allowed Mystic to get on spot. Off in hand, and the shot not gonna land. Gotta bail out now. And with the man disadvantage, that pick could have been everything for Liquid. Now, a much more difficult way back through.
Losing Nats. off the back of that Nightfall. Not going to be ideal, an opportunity, but not taken. A quick response from Boaster. However, Kiko is still landing the shots. Does he expect the player on the close position? He half checks it. Doesn't expect Alfia to be there. And now it's left all up to Yumpy. He's pulled off miracles from this position before. But both players having a decent idea of where he is. Boaster actually just going to exit the site, give him an opportunity to reload, and that time is ticking so desperately low. Yumpy needs to get a move on. He's going to take the fight versus Leo, and it's lost. The streak comes to an abrupt end, and now Liquid needs 7 in a row.
Expertly handled by Fnatic. As soon as they lose that first player, I love Boaster's repositioning towards the spawn. He basically locks in the round at that point, isolating duels, leaving it down to the clock. And his position would have been so unknown. That showstopper could have changed the game entirely. But in the end, the result swings to Fnatic. A round locked in and a huge lead with 7 chances to close this out. Seems like Team Liquid will be going home. Nice shot by Kiko, though. He's got some life left in him.
Oh, he's going to have to watch this one from the back. He's joined us as a spectator. And he's taken Durka with him. Normally, in some cases, that might just be enough, but we've seen the depth that Fnatic have shown. Even on an individual level, Boaster actually has the spike here. He's got to be careful. Any sort of battle that he takes could risk losing one of their prime pieces. With 3 players here, they're going to decide to back off. They could already see Alpha on this side of the map alone. In fact, Nats is so far out of this, he wants that utility to stay online as long as possible just to get them information. Also has a quick rotation over onto that B side. But what it does mean is Fnatic hits C. It's going to have to be a full-on retake from the side of Liquid.
I'm so conditioned, I had to just double check that wasn't Mystic going for the TP. The guy, he's just unhinged.
30 seconds left.
With the From the Shadows, with the Shrouded Steps.
Cam is still there.
But they knew about it. Got it. They pinged it the whole time. They're ready for it to pop back up one more time. Nice shot onto Yumpy. Enzo's on his way in. Big gun in hand, and not good for one. In fact, it's Nats to pick that up. But now he's forced backwards. The delay of this lockdown is going to give a lot of time into the hands of Fnatic, and with that pick on Mystic isolating duels, they know exactly where Nats is. It looks like the chances have run dry. And the side of Fnatic have locked themselves in for a further playoffs journey, eliminating Liquid.